Now my slides are freezing. All right. So SCORE is mission is to catalyze transformative change in Tennessee education so that all students can achieve success. SCORE is an independent, nonprofit, and nonpartisan institution founded in 2009 by Senator Bill Frist, a former U.S. Senate Majority Leader. And we strive to be a durable partner and trusted advisor on Tennessee education. SCORE is focused on effectuating change for students from kindergarten through career, through policy and practice, and taking it to scale. We have three goals. Most of my portfolio at SCORE deals with the connection of educational institutions in K-12 space, but particularly higher education institutions and how are they leveraging evidence-based practices to support students completing degrees and credentials of value that have currency in the marketplace. And so we work very hard and very diligently with state officials, college executives, and faculty to realize that goal. All students, we understand, can receive an excellent public education, and that's what we strive to achieve. All students can earn a credential, post-secondary degree of value that prepares them for a career, enabling economic independence, and economically disadvantaged students, students of color, and rural students see improved success across all goals relative to their peers. SCORE strategic priorities are wrapped in these four buckets for this year. Obviously, as an education policy advocacy organization, we are a critical voice and ear to great teaching and leadership. We appreciate innovative school models and approaches that help advance new instructional models for students and expose and also blaze the trail for education to career pathways that really yields some sense of currency in the marketplace, and it supports the demand for where our high wage and demand jobs are today. And lastly, we strive to be a supportive ecosystem. So when you get into your roles as teachers, you don't be surprised if you see us convening folks from school districts, classroom teachers, policy makers, all sorts of folks at one table to talk extensively about all things related to P through 20 education. The HBCU Fellows Program. So we understand that, SCORE is a policy advocacy organization. Our president and CEO, David Mansouri, put out, I guess, a call for us to think strategically about how are we exposing, folks that are in education programs to all of the interconnected professional work portfolio that sits before you. Policy and advocacy is a viable career opportunity for students that are going through the teacher education residency programs like you all are, and some of your other peers that might not necessarily want to be in the classroom, but we absolutely encourage that and understand that that is a critical part of the work that we do and a necessity that we have good teachers in the classroom, but to also, expose you to what are some of the other things that educators are involved in to ensure that we continue to serve students across the state at all levels. And so with that strategic guidance, we decided in wanting to look to have inclusive excellence across our organization, what sorts of things could we do to encourage a robust, diverse pipeline of students that are coming into these various career pathways into organizations like SCORE across the state. And so we, this spring, is planning to launch a HBCU Fellows program. It'll be a 5-week program that will come with a stipend. You'll spend roughly 5 to 10 hours a week with us. You'll be at our organization, learning about the various things that we have set forth this year's priorities, and really get an opportunity to further your career aligned experience from a policy nonprofit education perspective. As a primer, before we get to that 5-week HBCU fellowship experience, we are wanting to get you, you know, comfortable with like, what is SCORE? What do we do? What are organizations that are similar to SCORE? How do they impact education? How do they impact policy in the state at the federal level, if you will? And so we put together a very a reduced schedule of what your experience might be. So we are asking if anyone is interested in just learning more about our organization to spend one day with us. You might be with me for a series of meetings. You might be with our CEO, and understanding the fact that this will be a, you know, this hybrid model will probably be in some form of a Zoom or Teams call. But we are just super excited to have students like you to be with us. And if you're just really interested in just learning more about what we do, learning about our team, folks that serve as SCORE leadership, this will be a good opportunity for you. For this particular experience, it's only one day. You will get a $25 DoorDash to just sponsor your lunch. And then I'll move on to the next slide so that you can kind of see what a typical schedule could probably look like if you spend time with us. And then you can see the different times you'll join certain meetings with us. Our team leads. They'll discuss various projects that they're working on. You might have opportunity to meet with some of our external partners. And then you'll just spend the entire day with us learning. We'll do a recap at the end. And so I went very, very fast because I wanted to leave some time for just a roundtable and any reflections you all might have or questions as it relates to SCORE and the work that we do in the externship program and also the HBCU fellowship program, fellows program. And I'm trying to see you all, so I'm not sure if anyone has any questions. Just jump off mute and fire away.
One question in the chat is, how can we apply for the Fellows Program?
Yeah, so Dean Kendall has my contact information. I'm certain that she's welcome to share it with you. I have it somewhere on one of the slides. Here we are. Here's my email address. You can send it to me, but we really want you to go through our campus partner, which is Dean Kendall, and she'll link you with us if you're interested in joining us, because we both want to track the career-related connectedness, professional experiences that you all are having, and then we want there to be some level of triage so that she's understanding what you all are doing, when, and that sort of thing. But I'm happy to answer any questions directly. You can reach out to my email, but if you're really, really interested, I'll just say that, you know, you reach out to Dr. Arrighi.
Any other questions or thoughts? And I did place Dr. Rogers' email in the chat area if you want to grab that down. He gave me a promotion on a Friday. I went to check on my child and came back and was a dean. I said, okay. I'm looking for that in my end of the month paycheck. Oh, we have one more question. Do we have a date for when this, let me go, hold up. Do we have a date for when this fellowship will start or the externship is?
So we are being very flexible right now. We will start with the externship. And so we are wanting, we are taking your schedule into account for when we schedule the one-day experience. So the sooner you reach out to Dr. Arrighi and she contacts us, we'll try and get you scheduled for a day that's really conducive for you. And then after we finish the externship period, then we'll try and work on the 5-week process. But we're thinking March into April will be the 5-week process.
Oops. And then the last one is there a website?
Yes, my organization website is 10 score. Here, I can drop it in the chat.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? All right, well, we are again ahead of schedule. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. Dr. Rogers, thank you so much for your time this morning. I hope that you are also at home staying safe. You know, sometimes people tell us that we're too essential than the weather. And I'm like, I don't want to be essential this week until the snow melts just a little bit. Uh,
Yes.
Good. Because I'm not going to ask us to do our Zoom fashion show. What you get on the screen is what you get. But I know some of you guys got on some SpongeBob bottoms. And those of you that are on campus, I saw the sledding videos on TikTok. You did good. You did good.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have a great Friday, Dr. Rogers. Before we continue, I want to make sure that I also navigate you to our Teacher Ed website, specifically looking at scholarships. Remember, this is not just an orientation about, just making sure that you are here and prepared for field study. This is also talking about the value of resources. So I want to make sure that in this scholarship season, that you are aware of some of the funds that are accessible to you. So I'm going to give a moment for the Zoom page to load up, or our Teacher Ed website to load up. And I want to direct you down to the left navigation menu for education scholarships. There are a variety, and these are just a few. This is definitely not I wish I did have an extensive list, but these are just a few that are available that you may want to look into to help fund your educational journey here at Tennessee State University. We have the Applegate Jackson Parks Future Teacher Scholarship, and I wanted to make sure that each one of those you could see the requirements as well as the dollar amount. We have the Don Solly Cathal Woodall Scholarship Fund. This is directly one that all of you should be interested in applying for as members of the Student Tennessee Education Association. You see that there are 7 different categories, and that deadline is March 1st. And the reason why I'm saying this should be one that is of interest to all of you is because at every state conference annually, they always report that not enough candidates apply for those funds. So I definitely want to make sure that I bring that to your attention so that they can't say that my lovely teaching tigers are leaving money on the table. We have the Edward G. Helen A. Borgens Elementary and Secondary Teacher Education Scholarship, James Madison Memorial Fellowship Foundation. I like that dollar amount. The Nancy Larson Foundation College Scholarship, Phi Delta Kappa Prospective Educator Scholarship. We have a bigger group this year, so I'm actually excited to know that many of you in my secondary audience may be interested in our prospective 7 through 12 secondary teacher coursework work scholarship. Now, keep in mind for Tennessee, just so you know that that's not an error, Tennessee, our endorsement area for our secondary programs is grades 6 through 12, but oftentimes, depending on which state it covers 7 through 12, apply anyway. And then we have the Ruth Primes TESOL Fellowship for Graduate Study. If many of you are interested in ESL programs, that might be one that you might be interested in for your graduate study. Our STEM Teacher Graduate Scholarship, again, for those of you that are interested in teacher ed in the secondary and STEM areas. The Teach Grant Program, and I am checking on this because I'm hearing that some of these funds, while they're available nationally, for that TSU is not accepting some of these. So I have placed a outreach, and I thank you to those STEA officers that brought this to my attention. I have done outreach to financial aid to try to find out what is the issue with that particular Teach Grant fund, because money is money, and I want to make sure that we are able to access the resources that are available. The Thurgood Marshall College Fund, and I'm excited to say that we will have one of our senior Residency II candidates, Mr. Ramit Nelson, that will be talking about his experience with Thurgood Marshall later on in our agenda before we conclude. The Tennessee Future, and then we're going to close with the Tennessee Future Teacher Scholarship, noting that, especially if you know you're not moving, I'm staying right here in the great old state of Tennessee, that might be one that you may be interested in pursuing. And again, these resources came from the All-Star Directory as of last year. It may have been updated since then. But again, please do those Google AI searches, however you want to do it, to ensure that you are aware of those scholarships and those windows, knowing that we want to make sure that you do have the funds and resources to make it through our teacher prep program. Now, going back, and I'm going to just go ahead and start part of my presentation because we are early, and I'm good with that, to make sure that we are staying on time and on target. Those of you that might have joined during Mr. or Dr. Rogers' presentations, please make sure that you've placed your name in the chat so that I have that captured on my end. I'm going to quickly do a new share and flop on into a portion of my presentation. And Janae, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
I just had a question about the Phi Delta Kappa one. Do you have to be a member to get that scholarship?
I am not sure. I put down the requirements as they had posted on the All-Star Directory site, but I would encourage all of you to just do that investigative work to see if you're eligible for all categories. If you're not, it's okay, but I'm finding that a lot of our candidates are eligible for some of these funds and not accessing them. So I would rather for you to find out and make sure that you have that than to improperly say you're not eligible and you would be. But great question. All right. Let's see. So part of my presentation, and again, I will be looking for who is next on my schedule. We have a huge break. I'm glad. I'm just going to go ahead. And if we are ahead, then we will definitely end early. So I'm going to go ahead and start my presentation now. Any objections? Seeing none, go. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go through this. Okay, so my responsibility as the director of the Teacher Ed office is to make sure that you are graduating certified. And there is a difference. TSU, your advisors, everyone else, your professors are going to make sure that you have the number of hours to graduate from the institution. My charge to our partner school districts is to make sure that every person that walks across the stage in May of 2025 in this group is doing so certified. Whether you teach in Tennessee, Ohio, Alaska, that you are doing so certified. That has a greater level of impact. As I mentioned in my opening comments, this time next year will feel and look a lot different for you because your Residency I experience, during that time, it is highly likely that the principal, your mentor teacher, or the school district will be reaching out to you and or our office saying, I would like to extend Michael a clinical practice permit. I would like to have Tori take over this teacher's position during Residency II. And basically what that means is that during your Residency II, that final semester here at the university, yes, you will register for the seminar class and the enhanced student teaching course, but you will be an employee of that school district earning that permit salary. That's really exciting, but it also means that we really want to make sure that you understand the importance of being career ready. So, as you remember from your interview, we are focusing on making sure that you are competent, caring facilitators who are committed to diversity and success for all. Now, as I said during our orientation in in August, diversity is not just what you see. It is a mindset. It is where you live in the county. It may be your upbringing. And while we are all in the same cohort, your experience and your own educational journey is so diverse than everybody else that is the foundation of how you see and view education. 9 times out of 10, if you hated school, hopefully you're not in this program, but maybe you are, to transform your educational experience and your frame of reference. But I dare say that many of you had not only one, but several impactful educators or mentors who inspired you to sign up for this program and say, I want to carry that passion and that love for education or my content area to a whole new generation of learners. And so that's our charge. And that is the commitment that my team, our faculty bring to the table. We want to see you. You look dead center into that triangle. We want to see you modeling professionalism, managing your classrooms, being great communicators, not only to those students, but to the colleagues that have to enrich your own professional journey. That you are specialized in your content, that you know what you know and what you're supposed to teach, so that you can effectively maximize learning. That you can evaluate your students, not just based off of what's on that report card, but you can evaluate your students to say, right now, I see Milan is at a D. What can we do to move her to a C? Because sometimes that in itself is a mountain to climb. But also, I see that Taylor has an A. How do I keep her striving and being a lifelong learner so that she doesn't get complacent and drop down to a B? So that means that you're going to have a strong plan of action, not just for your students, but also for yourself so that you're constantly growing. That means that this entire academic year, we have been focusing on the 4 of the 8 career readiness standards from the National Association of Colleges and Employers. Yes, we live in a digital age. I am the tech teacher for Tennessee State University. However, soft skills are so important, and how you invest in yourself is really going to tell us a lot between now and when you apply for Residency 1 in just 2 months. So we want to make sure that you are thinking about career and self-development. You are moving on that campus to classroom timeline, and that transition is a little bit unique. It is important that you see yourself at this particular stage always being interviewed for your career. We are looking at how you dress, not today. We are looking at how you dress, how you speak, how you are building your brand. And you don't have to be a student athlete or a child star phenom to do that. As future educators, people are going to want to know who you are. And they're going to want to know because you are dealing with their best investment, their child. So how you communicate, it's really important that you think about how you are articulating ideas and concepts. That's going to be meaningful to you because it is not just saying that you have to speak proper. Now, we're not in England, so I don't expect you to have your best Bridgerton voice. But it does mean that as an educator, you have to show that you have an educational vocabulary. It's okay. I don't care if you live in the dorms or in Dixon. You have to let people know, and you have to be comfortable with being proud of the education that you're paying for. You got the degree, you're getting the degree. So we should make sure that you are communicating and exchanging ideas effectively. That also means that you have to have a communicative ear, that you can listen and still communicate. This is a profession that does not involve perfection, but this does mean that when you are sharing ideas and facts and perspective, that you do so with the intent of positive impact. I always joke with my students, being a Northerner, AKA a Yankee, shout out to the Detroit Lions. I'm living the dream this season. Y'all laughed at me. Y'all been laughing at me. This is the year. I'm just gonna hold it there.
Hey.
I know we have our game on Sunday. I just had to have that moment on behalf of the One Pride family. Okay, now, as a Northerner, I have to understand how to listen from a Southern perspective. As an individual who travels, I have to make sure that as I'm sharing ideas, that I'm being inclusive, and not that I'm not leaving anyone out in my ideas of working and supporting the students that were in my classroom. I understand that, yes, my gender, my ethnicity, my age, all have played parts in how I've communicated. Like some of you, you will enter the profession in your young 20s. And you have a different way and flair of communicating, especially my teen secondary crew. Woo woo. They're gonna look at you and they're gonna be like, hey, Miss White. Now I had Jayla in my class, so she know I'm gonna always pick on her. They're gonna be like, hey, Miss White, you are pretty. Girl, don't date them. Don't do it. You know, first of all, you know they ain't got a job and they all live with their mamas. Don't do it, Jayla. Not Jayla, Jalea, I'm sorry. But don't do it, Jalea. Don't do it. Now listen, that means that you have to understand that you can be a mentor, a support. You can even understand their student way of communicating. But you still want to make sure that you are communicating and carrying yourself of that level of professionalism that is important for you in your job. That also means that you have to be a critical thinker. Now, this is a profession, again, that is not rooted in perfection. So that means that when problems and issues come your way, you have to not rely on that DEFCON 1 button and say, oh my God, what am I going to do? As individuals getting ready to move into that senior block, we're looking for you to be more proficient in troubleshooting. I'm going to use Michael as a teachable moment. Michael, good morning. He didn't get the notification for the virtual link. Immediately shot out an email. Hey, Dr. Reedy, I thought it was virtual. Boom, sent the link. He's online. Now, I'm saying that because a lot of times in this mindset, many of you are still thinking like a TSU student. As future educators, you have to be proactive, not reactive. And your mentor teacher, that administrator, the master clinician, field study professor, and my team, we are going to be looking at how well you communicate in a timely manner, how well you are troubleshooting. Okay, if I'm having car issues, are you not going to notify the school? Are you not going to notify Ms. Fair, your field study instructor, so that they can make the necessary arrangements? Or are you going to now start thinking like someone who actually is employed in that school, so that your mentor teacher, and more importantly, those students are not left without a quality learning experience? And then again, with equity inclusion, again, it's about attitude, knowledge, and skills. I am so excited and delighted to see you all on this morning, because again, your presence, your face shows us that you are ready to engage. And it is very easy and tempting on a Friday with snow to disengage. But these are the 4 competencies that I really want you to be intentional about, knowing that when you transition from pre-residency and apply for residency 1 for the fall semester, that we're going to up the ante and look at you not just in terms of troubleshooting and being critical in your thinking and being a good communicator, but moving you into being a teacher leader, one who understands professionalism from beginning to end, one who is ready to build that team within the classroom, within that school community, and amongst the advocacy group here at TSU. And that's leveraging technology to understand how it should help you grow and prepare your learners who are going to be 21st century TikTok-like learners. So again, here are some examples. I'm not going to use my time to go through all of these, but again, just look at those sample behaviors that are relevant for you in terms of your own self-development. I also want to acknowledge, and you'll see on a later slide, the Professional Development Fridays that several of you have engaged in to ensure that you are building those professional contacts and making yourself ready to be a qualified person for employment in a district. Again, with communication, verbal and nonverbal, you will be surprised how much of a difference it makes just to hear, some of them whoop whoops need a little caffeine to it. I was like, give me a whoop whoop. Some of y'all were like, whoop whoop. Some of y'all were like, whoa, whoa. Okay, I don't know what you need to get that tune-up going, but again, if I'm Dr. Roberts and or Dr. Rogers, excuse me, or Miss Fair, and I'm just listening to just the energy at 8:30 in the morning when all of you would be at work, that would say something. When you have your camera on, and again, I know we're not fashion forward in these lovely little Zoom rectangles, but a smile makes a difference. I don't care if you had to put a picture of Matt Damon behind your computer screen, just say, hey man, how you doing? Just smile at him. You can lie to me. Just say, look at Eve. Eve just smiling the whole time. Eve might be watching the next episode of Reacher. I don't know. But lie to me so I can forget the truth, so that when people are looking and evaluating how you engage, how do you make them feel? It's scary talking to 20-something people and they're all looking at you like you're stepping on a nail. It's scary. Some of you are scaring me. Just saying. Sorry, Amanda, I'm moving on. It's okay. I apologize. It's the coffee. I had some good one this morning. It's a candy blend. It's like this is a thin mint. They have a section of cured coffees that are based off of chocolate flavors. I had Kit Kat yesterday.
I don't know what you said earlier, but you said something and I literally spit my coffee out and I had to wipe it out.
I apologize, Amanda. That was it might have been my intent, but I'm happy that worked for you.
Yes, it did.
Okay, equity and inclusion. Again, our classrooms are more diverse. Now, I don't care if you're all the way out in White House or Cooperstown or Castellana Springs. I've been there. I'm not going there today or anytime soon, but I've been out there. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, it's a small town community and everybody knows my business and I know their business. But guess what? That still is equity and inclusion and an awareness and understanding of small town dynamics versus city dynamics. I went from Detroit to Martin, Tennessee, Northwest Tennessee. And I learned about manure season. And it's all the coffee your nose will ever need. But even in that, I understood in those small towns and in a lot of your rural areas, why it is very safe and interesting for everybody to know your names and neighbors and the names of all the cats, dogs, chickens, and goats. And at the same time, moving back to Nashville and being in a very urban city, I still understood the importance of building community and making sure that I was engaged and visible in my students' activities or just the ongoings of what was happening. So I want to challenge you specifically on this slide. And yes, I know that your lives are busy. When you are doing your field study this particular semester, please know that this is a very intense time for our school districts because they are hosting you, but they are also getting ready for those standardized tests. And while we will tolerate a snow day and a snow week, this week, if we have this type of weather, i.e. like March, going into April, the teachers will not be happy. They're enjoying it right now, but they will not be happy because that cuts into their time to prepare their students for that standardized test. Similarly, the seniors, they enjoyed the snow week. They were like, ooh, this is great. But it better not interfere with their EdTPA timeline. So please know that when you're going out into those schools, you have to be of a different level of service. If they're having a football game, teacher conference, parent teacher conference, spaghetti supper, it's all the holiday songs are gone. I mean, all the holiday recitals are gone. Read Across America, the Read Me Week and things like that. Show up. And I'm not saying show up because Dr. You or Dr. Christian or whoever is giving you credit. Show up because you want to see how the students are with their parents or how they are in different environments. And it's an opportunity for you to learn more about the school culture and that community outside of your field placement classroom. Yeah, I know you feel like you're learning a lot going to and from the cafeteria and the related arts room and things like that, but it is a different feel when they have field trips and things. Try to go and see, if possible, if you can engage in those activities so that you can see the types of other experiences that are happening that give you a different view and perspective of what's happening culturally, socially, within your school in that community. All right, it is 9:21, and I definitely believe in making sure that we're doing health and wellness. So we are going to go ahead and take a 10-minute break. But before we do that, I am also a person, if you've ever attended or dealt with me, I am also a fan of a good door prize. Now, thank you all for sparing me from bringing all the Panera Bread bagels and coffee and fruit to TSU. I made sure I canceled that order on Tuesday. But since I was going to feed you, I'm just going to do it differently. So I took those funds and put them back in my account to do some virtual Chick-fil-A gift cards. Ooh, so I'm going to spin that wheel. And I'm not saying you have to Uber Eat, but I'm saying that if you are here and you are online, that you might be winning one of several door prizes that I have going on. So look at everybody looking up. I see you, Joseph. I'm going to sit up for this one. I like a good waffle fry. And everybody like a good Chick-fil-A waffle fry. They got McDonald's beat on that. First thing I need you to do, check and make sure on this left, right-hand side over here, or on the wheel, that you see your name. If you don't see your name, speak now or forever hold your Chick-fil-A waffle fry.
My name is not there.
Who is not there?
Sierra Prather.
Well, let me go ahead and resolve that. Sierra Prather. I see you now in yellow. Okay, we're spinning the wheel. Okay.
My name is not on there.
Who was not on there? Pause. Who was not on there? Jordan. Gotta get you on there. But Layla, give me that woo-woo, Layla. Layla, if I don't hear the whoop-whoop, I can't give you the gift card.
Did you hear it?
I did not. I heard you then. Layla, no whoop-whoop. Okay, Layla, I hear you unmuting and muting, but I'll take that as the silent but deadly whoop-whoop. Okay, we had to add here, and then there was somebody else I did not have down, and Jordan. No, I need to add Jordan. Okay.
I was gonna say I don't see my name.
Who else?
You got Jordan Johnson. There's two Jordans.
Oh, well, let me know. Okay, so I see Jordan Walker.
Yeah.
W, and then I have Jordan. What was the last initial?
Johnson.
Johnson, thank you. I was like, it said Erica Jordan, so I'm gonna put Erica on there. Okay, I'm about to put a whole other person that's not even in the group. Okay, are we ready to spin? But y'all thought we're not done? I got several. So Layla, you will be having a 5. Make sure that you email me the right email. Layla, if you could shoot me a private chat with the right email address that you want your $5 gift card to Chick-fil-A to go to, I would appreciate that. Thank you much. All right, we're going to spin this wheel 2 more times. Get your mics ready, because if your name pops up, I'm going to need a real good solid whoop whoop. Let's go. Maya.
Woot woot.
We got a Maya Sanders. All right. Okay, go straight to the chat. Give me that preferred email address, and I will be sending these to you guys during the break. Last one, but don't get sad, you guys, because we have more. Go. Is it Dawn? Is it Christina? It's Christina. So we have Christina Schwartz.
Whoop whoop.
There it is. All right. It is currently 9:26. Let's go ahead and reconvene back at 9:36. I'll give you 10 minutes stretch, bio break, all that jazz. My three door prize winners, send me your email address and I will get that to you during the break. See you back in 10, everyone. So let me first go back and share my screen to the Teacher Ed website. So this is going to be your go-to site for all things Teacher Ed. You will see on the right-hand side our calendar for the semester, and we want to make sure that you have that. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints about events or things that are happening, please check that calendar. If you don't see that a date on there and you know that I've announced an event or that there's something that's supposed to happen, then let my office know. We can get that calendar updated immediately. On the left-hand side, for those of you that were asking about scholarships, that information is towards the bottom of our navigation menu. When you click on scholarships, it will take you to that educational scholarship page. And again, these are the scholarships that we were able to locate as of last year. But the main site is at the very bottom here, the all-star directory. So if you know of any other educational scholarships or things that are not reflected from this source, please let me know, because I know that it can be difficult going through like the foundation website or other external sources. We really want to make sure that the Teacher Ed website is a one-stop shop for you when you're working towards receiving resources and support. I also wanted to bring your attention at this time to admissions to Residency II. You're going to see in my presentation as we continue on, this being referenced on your checklist. So if you have the agenda or you receive the agenda for today's orientation, on that second page is a specific checklist for what you need to focus on for this semester. It's also going to be included in my presentation, but I want to make sure that you have on your radar the admissions to Residency I application. Everyone on this call should be applying for admissions to Residency I. This is the application to apply for the residency year. So you will need to make sure that you have on your radar this particular deadline. Now, I want to be clear on why it is April 5th. On some of the documents, it says March 30th. I'm going to be very clear on why I've said April 5th. And it's because of one key requirement that will save you $40. Ideally, and again, you can submit everything else on the packet by March the 30th. And I'll show you the application in a moment. But if you are renewing your STEA liability insurance, wait to do that after April 1st. Why, Dr. Reed? Glad you asked. If you renew your membership before April 1st, you are essentially paying for this academic year, 2023-2024, twice. After April 1st, you can join for 2024-2025, which is the academic year, fall, spring of your senior year. So please make sure you, again, we'll take everything on your application. We will even, and your current membership, your current STEA membership does not expire until August of this year. But when Miss Fair does the field placements and she's working to get all of you placed over the summer, we want to make sure that you can start day one, when as soon as Residency 1, that window opens, that you can start immediately. And we want to make sure that you have your STEA liability insurance renewed. So that is the reason why. But again, let's look at the application so that you know why you can literally work on this right now. We have a checklist that will walk you through all the things that you will need to gather for this for Residency 1. So we will need your acceptance letter to teacher education. Now, here's the great thing about it. I am the documentation queen. I already have a lot of this stuff in your folder. So you can go ahead and say, Dr. Reedy has that, check. Your updated program of study. Now, this is one of the other reasons why you want to probably wait until, not wait, but this is something that on your list, I will need to get this probably for the month in March, like when we start registering for classes for the fall semester, because you will need that to be signed by your academic advisors. Now, yes, this is being recorded, and I'm going to go ahead and keep it 1,000 with you. I know every program coordinator that you have. Some are more diligent than signing applications than others. Some of you may need 2 months to hunt down the person that needs to sign your program of study. That's all I'm going to say. So please make sure, don't just, you know what? Some of y'all need to keep your cameras off. Okay, but make sure that you have your grades. Everything is up to date. And again, particularly my transfer students, you want to make sure that you are having intention. Now, we talked about communication. Don't just go and say, what are my classes for the fall? If you transfer to Tennessee State University, I'm going to give you a life-saving tip. Make sure that you are having a conversation with your advisor about classes that were supposed to be transferred in and go in degree works and go into my TSU and make sure those classes show up on your program of study. You do not want to wait until 2025 spring to have a conversation with the records office and everybody about classes that were supposed to transfer in from Ball State, Motlow State, Nashville State, your grandmama state. Make sure you are asking those questions now, because will there be mistakes and glitches? Yes. And we want to make sure that we can fix them now. Copies of your transcripts. Again, most of these things, particularly if you transferred in, we already have this on our file, but we do need your current GPA. And speaking of which, everyone needs to have a minimum 2.75 GPA to remain eligible for this program, because that is what the state requires for you to be in a licensure program. So watch your grades, make sure that you are showing up. And when we're talking about thinking like a teacher professional, I'm going to have to go into my serious space now. We were looking and monitoring grades from the fall semester. If you did not perform well in those pre-residency 1 classes or your field study, you're only adding more work for pre-residency 2 and for residency 1, because that means that you're going to have to retake or actually add more work to your schedule. So please, on behalf of the faculty in teaching and learning, the faculty of the EPP and our office, when they're giving you deadlines, please do your best to submit your assignments on time to meet those deadlines. If you need to have a Taco Tuesday, get some chips, salsa, and the drink of your choice and talk about all of us, it's okay. Our responsibility is that you don't have to make your workload any harder than it is intended to be as you're going through our program. So please make sure that you're mindful of your GPA. Yes, headshots. Now, we won't be doing any of those today, but we want to make sure that you are thinking about your professional you and building your teacher brand on campus at the University Career Development Center. You can actually go over and take your professional photo. If you cannot make your way to campus, go to your local Walgreens or your FedEx office or whatever, like you're doing a passport photo, but smile. Passports, no smile. This one, smile. Get that good side pose. Get a good blouse. Hey, give me a dimple or two, however many you have, but give me a good look, because we want to make sure, again, that when people are looking and they're talking about our Teaching Tiger family, that I have a good, lovely pictures of you. And I hate all of these like static template people on the Teacher Ed page that I don't personally know. So in the handbook and things like that, yeah, it might be your picture that's on the cover of the handbook for next year, because we were going to do a group photo today. Clearly we're not, not in these outfits. We're not doing group photos today. But I do want to make sure that when people think about who a TSU Teaching Tiger candidate is, that they get a good photo. Look at my good photo. I'm going to turn my camera on. Look at that. Bow. Look at her. Bow. Not hot. Hot. Look at that. Bow. That's somebody that needs to be somebody's teacher. She just hanging out today. We're going to move on. That was shade at myself. I can talk about me because I don't want y'all to do it. Okay, background check clearance letter. So here's the great thing. I already have this on file, but I want to take this opportunity to say this. We're not perfect angels. Oh, no. So if you have something on your background check, when you received your initial report that says as an indication or whatever, I don't care if it was for a DUI or you popped over somebody's mailbox or you got into a fight, you know, when you were in your past life, not as a teacher, but in your past life, someone tried you and they messed around. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Go and get your record expunged. Please go down to your courthouse or whoever handles that stuff and say, hey, once upon a time, I didn't have my life together and I wasn't trying to have a job. But in this particular point, as Dr. Reedy is talking about leaving the campus and going out into my career, I need for y'all not to worry about who I was at 19, because, you know, some of y'all forgot that y'all were adults until they came and got you. So go ahead and clear that stuff. Why, Dr. Reedy? Because the school districts are a calling. And yes, someone asked during the break about the clinical practice permit, and I want to clarify that because it is important for you to know that people are asking for the roster of candidates and how they can get in contact with you. That is why your LinkedIn page is important. That is why in building out your LinkedIn page, that is why having that good professional headshot is important. And that is why managing your brand is important. You will need to take a TB skin test because you'll be in the schools more hours than you are now. So we are asking for that. The TBI waiver and Privacy Act, all of those things will still be current. So you can go ahead and put a check by background check clearance letter because we already have that. The TBI waiver and all that stuff, we have that. But again, when school districts say, hey, I need to know why you have on the background check, there's an issue, we still have to get your permission to release that. But when we've looked, some of the stuff is like, you got a ticket for jaywalking. And I'm like, that's on your record? Go get that expunged. Go get that off of there. Make that a priority. And then for future reference, behave. That's all I'm going to say. Behave. Like, you know, be a good school teacher that you are. Just call your brother and say, go, I can't do it because I'm trying to get a job. Dr. Reedy said I can't do it. But you can do it. You can do it. And you know what I'm saying. I'm sorry. This is all being recorded. I apologize. That was just for jokes. Everybody on this call knows that they are supposed to do their good professional. I'm just going to go ahead and move this other Jordan up off my screen. She's going to get my job fired off of this. I apologize for the people watching the recording. We will need your emergency contact form just in case anything happens while you're on the school site. They can reach out to us so that we can make sure that You can get the assistance and the support that you need. And again, there's that notation after April 1st, then join, renew your liability insurance for the next academic year. I don't need you to join twice for this year. Okay, Praxis scores. So again, here's what you need to know. For some of you, on your admissions letter, it clearly stated if you needed to take Praxis 2 tests, elementary, early childhood, music, art, physical education, you all have Praxis 2 tests that you need to complete. Some of you only have one, some of you have 5. I think that's elementary ed, unfortunately. Please make sure that you are working on those tests now. Did she say now? Now. Work on them now. Why? Because when you move into your senior block, you are switching gears to focus on EdTPA. And while, yes, you will have time, I'm trying to think about what's on your plate. You will really want to make sure and feel great to know that you're walking into your senior year and these tests are done. So on behalf of Dr. Stewart and the team in the Global Student Success Lab, go get the study guides, start saving your resources, take the test, let us work with you. If you don't pass the test, don't just stop. Still continue to take the test and work with her team with the study guides and the praxis test to get those things done. Now, I see several questions in the chat. Let me make sure that I grab those. I addressed the scholarship. Let's see, Mackenzie, there is an error loading on the worksheet. No requirements are found. That is a Dr. Christian thing. So you will want to follow up with Dr. Christian or your advisor to make sure that the paperwork to update your degree works and your what records needs to have is all in the system.
And I have another question as
Go
well.
for it.
I've seen 2 separate deadlines for the Praxis 2. Can you tell me the deadline?
Okay, we would absolutely love to have scores reported by the time you apply. So that March 30th, we would love to have the scores in for several reasons. One, we need to know where everyone is in terms of tracking. We have found that individuals who have not started any of their Praxis 2 tests by the time that they apply for senior block have a harder time. I'm not going to say least likely to finish their certification benchmark. They have a harder time completing their benchmarks. And the data shows, not a RIGI, the data shows that they are typically graduating uncertified. So that's number one. Number two, we are really trying to find out, and this goes back, I think, to Mackenzie. It might have actually been no, it wasn't Mackenzie's question. Who asked about? It was Eve's question about the clinical practice permit. So you keep hearing me saying clinical practice permit. We have 3 seniors that are actually on a teaching salary, permit salary during student teaching. That requirement basically says that you have to be finished with all of your coursework. So everyone on this call, both elementary, secondary, everyone will be finished with their campus coursework by December of 2024. During Residency 1, that's why I want to be very clear. During Residency 1, you're going to be out into the schools for 2 days a week, more hours. They're going to be looking at, you're going to be co-teaching and starting to do teaching duties. And your mentor teacher, your master clinician, and that administrator are going to start looking and probably asking Ms. Fair some very clear questions. Where are they on praxis? Because if you are caught up with all of your praxis, then it is easy at the end of residency. It's easy to go ahead and tell the district, she's on clinical practice permit, upon passing EdTPA, move her salary up. And they can go ahead and do, because you're already an employee of the district, so they can go ahead and do that payroll stuff early. The other thing is we want to make sure that we're honest with the district. If you are If you are not up on your praxis, benchmarks, they can still take you for the permit, but they just want to be realistic, because if you are caught up on all of your exams and you're ready to go, and Mackenzie has 3 tests missing, they may hire you, but obviously, Eve, you have greater priority because we know that you are further along in being certified than Mackenzie. So the districts want you workforce ready. And I'm excited, but that also means that meeting those goals help us out, because for the 3 candidates that are out there, 2 were elementary, had completed everything. All of their exams were done. All they're doing is waiting for EdTPA. The other one was biology, and they scooped her up immediately before winter break. So I'm saying that because our process and procedures in our office look different, because many of you will be getting that letter and that offer for employment as early as December 1. And they're only waiting for your grades, and then they'll issue you the offer. And so a lot of our candidates were finishing off December as the teacher of record. They were going in, starting setting up their classroom and everything. And then they're working, but still just doing the student teaching in the classes for us for graduation purposes. So one last thing, I'm checking the chat real quick to make sure I covered everybody else's questions. And I do see our 10 o'clock presenter on. So I want to say one last thing, because again, I would be remiss. So I'm going to go ahead and let me see if I can do this without, I did the wrong thing. Hold on. Cancel that. And then let me go back over to Safari. Can you guys still see my window? Can you still see my internet window?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. So this is going to be a lovely segue because my dear, lovely colleague from Metro National Schools, they took a chance on a young, crazy Kendall back in the 24 years ago. They took a chance on me, and I stand before you. Now, I'm not saying that questions their judgment, but I'm saying that my homegirl, my sorority sister, and my colleague, Miss Amber Tyus, will be up in a moment for her presentation. But I do want to point this out. Jalea knows this from my tech class. You will all be, not all of you, elementary, early childhood, you will all be bothered by me in the fall for 4190 for technology. But I want to go ahead and wrap up and do this lovely transition before I hand you back over to our school district. When we talk about branding, and again, all of this is based off of that clinical practice permit. When the school district says, hey, Dr. Riggy, who's on your roster? Who's on your slate? Now, all of y'all are on here. Go ahead and check the chat. We got a lot in the pipeline. I'm so excited. They want to know where you are in terms of benchmarks. And then behind the scenes, background checks, all those things. And then behind the scenes, they are also going to vet you and make sure that you are building your digital brand. So again, y'all see this picture. I'm going to go ahead and put the video again. That is Dr. Riggy. She's looking nice. Ain't that purple top nice? Don't respond. Look at her. That's a money-making photo right there. That is a person who has bills to pay. Now, I'm not saying that I looked at some of y'all LinkedIn pictures and your Facebook page and whatnot, although I have, because y'all are, I'm in the groups, all the groups. But I want you to keep in mind that your brand is what you construct, especially when you're using social media. And many of our districts do what is called an online background check. Now, listen, I already told y'all, Nicole, move the doctor, just put your little finger over doctor. Nicole has a life, have a kid, and I love the Detroit Lions football. But my job is to make sure that y'all never see my Detroit Lions attire. Now, if they go to the Super Bowl, y'all gonna see it all because I'm going nuts. But for right now, my responsibility as the director of teacher education is to make sure that you are responsible, accountable, and proud of your brand. So this is one site. Now I'm saying this is one. This ain't the site, but this is one site. Go ahead and put your stuff in. Don't do it now. Don't do it during Miss Tice's presentation. But go through. Put your name in, put your stuff in, and just know when they do those searches, and when I'm saying they, I mean these school districts far and wide. When they do the search to see if you're ready to get that good money salary, they do the search. The search. I'll use myself as a teachable moment because I'm sure Amber's like, oh, you put your name in and read. Go ahead, put your name in. I'm not going to use any of y'all as a teachable moment. I'll use myself. Now, here's the lovely part about this. Now, this is just me doing it fine. I didn't even log into my account, but it is my responsibility to let you know that as you are using social media, as you are building your brand, please make sure that you are mindful. I know I better pay that money right. Child, I'm telling you, I pay good money every year to make sure that y'all little nosy selves don't find me. Okay. Okay. Look at McKinsey. McKinsey is disappointed. She's like, oh man. Okay. Here's the reason why. Most of the time, you are providing, rightfully so, your school districts with the information that they would need to determine how you are building your own brand. So I know that's right. Again, y'all are so disappointed. I'm so happy. So what I've normally shown, maybe it's because I'm at home. Oh, let me put my age. I'm not gonna lie. That's how old I am. Okay, and then K, and then Tennessee. I'm gonna help it out. That, and then that's all y'all need to know. Let's see, one more go round. That when you are building your digital brand, and again, my 4190 group will tell you, I'm looking at where you went to like they found me, they found my house, all the places that I've lived, my family. Thank God I pay good money. Okay, good deal. All I want to say is that for this, and look at y'all disappointed, like y'all are disappointed. Ladies, don't do this and go look up your ex, but do. The ex and the next, but do. Sorry, guys, this is still being recorded. I apologize, people watching the recording. I apologize. But when you do your online background check, just make sure that you are mindful that many of these search engines and things are looking at who you are on LinkedIn, which is why I say build out your LinkedIn page for just the sheer purpose of Dr. Reedy. I have like 10 social media pages. I'm everywhere. But hey, there's Dr. Reedy, and then there's my LinkedIn page. I'm going to give you my LinkedIn page because that's the good picture. The Detroit Lion photos, mind your business. Let me have my Sundays in peace. All y'all diehard Titans fans with your face painted in the thought, go ahead. I see you out there with T-Rex. Keep it clean. But just know that when we are looking for that next candidate to be my child's teacher or to be that 8th grade educator, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing anything wrong, but just be mindful that when we're doing and we're asking for you to think about your professionalism, how you are moving along that campus to classroom transition, that you are doing so with the intention of when they say, okay, Natalie, we want to offer her a contract. When we send that paperwork over, when they're extending that letter to you, that the district will also do their work to determine how you will be as their employer of the district, not as a TSU student. So now that you guys are going to have fun going on there like, who was that guy dating in the 8th grade? Let me look him up and see what he's doing now. Stop being nosy. Don't do that, but do it. I want to go ahead and turn over our time to our next set of presenters. Let me go ahead and give them host access. Bear with me for a minute so they can go ahead and share their screen. We have Miss Amber Tyus and Dr. Darius George. Whoop, whoop. Go ahead and hit that reaction button because I know y'all not going to come off of mute. Go ahead and give them the thumbs up or the hand clap and the whoop whoop. We're excited. We're ready. It's Friday and it's snow day. We have nothing to lose. Look at my presenters. Y'all better come off mute and give us some energy.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you for the invite. We are excited to be here. Dr. George and I are eager to present to the pre-residency group. Dr. George is going to be guiding this presentation. I think Dr. George is going to bring that up. Darish, you have that correct? He does. He's already bringing up the screen. All right. We're going to go to presentation mode. Again, good morning. Thank you to the group for letting us take a little bit of your time this morning. I'm going to kick off this presentation. Again, I'm Amber Tyus. I'm the Executive Director of Talent Strategy for Metro Nashville Public Schools. I'm going to get started with sharing a little bit of information about best practice strategies for networking when you're out in your residency, also interviewing tips, success tips for survival, and just getting out there and winning when you're out in your residency, okay? And then I'm going to kick it over to Dr. George. So we're going to get started. Okay, so the purpose of this presentation is to go over networking tips, interview best practices, the value of mentorship, and just general tools for success. So I'm not going to belabor this, but essentially what I'm going to talk to you about is the best way to be a peer. And so you're probably looking at me like, what are you talking about? We're already going to be peers. We're going to be out there in the school. So if you see this, you're already saying, okay, a peer, you've gotten it. It's to be professional, be engaged, be energetic, and to be ready. I'm essentially saying that you want to go out there, and Dr. Riggi already talked about this. Go out there and be professional. What do I mean about being professional? You want to go out there and let your colleagues know that you are not just a student from Tennessee State University. You are, in fact, already an educator. Don't lead them to believe that you are not someone who's prepared to teach students, or just someone who is an early career educator, that you are, in fact, a teacher who is ready to lead students each and every day. How do you go about doing that? You are already going out there by being, doing the research and being adequately prepared to do this work each and every day. Do the research that it takes beyond the learning that you're getting in the classroom every day from your professors, okay? Go beyond the classroom and go beyond the tutelage that they're giving you at the university. You also want to make sure that you're studying and adequately preparing for the district where you're going to be working. If you're going to be at Metro Nashville Public Schools, and you're going to be at a specific school within Metro Nashville, then make sure that you do the research for that particular school. Don't go in there inadequately prepared. Know the landscape of that particular school. Understand the vision and mission of that district. Understand the vision and mission of that particular school. Know the makeup of that student body. Make sure that you know how you're going to fit into the fabric of that particular building. How are you going to add to the culture of that building? Okay, so go in there and ask questions. Ingratiate yourself with the staff and let them know that you are, in fact, a peer, and that you are a professional, that you are not someone who's studying to become an educator, that you're already an educator. You also want to make sure that you're networking with the staff. How can you network with the individuals who are within your content area? If you're going to be an elementary teacher, then you want to make sure that you're networking with those within your content group. You want to make sure that you are attending staff meetings. If the principal's not inviting you to attend staff meetings, that you ask, hey, can I sit in the staff meetings? Can I attend the PD days? What can you do? You also want to make sure that you're attending board meetings if you have the opportunity. Reach out to individuals like myself who are part of the HR team and ask, can you attend meetings aside from what is already advertised? There are opportunities for you to network with district partners as well and understand the fabric and landscape of the district. So make sure that you are a professional and who understands what's going to be happening 5 to 10 years down the road within education, so that you can be well versed. The next is be engaged. Be engaged in the learning for your own edification. Be excited. When you walk into the building, be eager, be excited about the learning each and every day. It does not help when you walk in there and you're like, oh my goodness, I do not want to be here. That does not bode well. When you walk in there, be engaged, be excited, be eager. Nobody wants to deal with someone who, yes, there are days when each and every one of us do not necessarily want to go to work. That's just real. That's the reality. But you want to make sure that you are engaging and you are eager and excited about the business of learning and being an educator, because that's catching. That's catching for students, and it's also catching for your peers. So when you walk in there and you say, yep, I'm excited about what I'm taking on. I'm excited about being a resident here in the school, and I'm excited about what I'm learning from my colleagues. They are eager to share their knowledge with you, and they're excited about making you a part of their staff. If you're looking for a job in any district, in any charter school, in any particular organization, guess what? They want to hire the people that want to be there. You want to be around people that want to do the work alongside you. So make sure that you are engaging, that you are excited. Take advantage of opportunities within the school. Maybe those aren't always paid opportunities. Maybe those are things that extend your school day, but be excited and be engaging. Attend additional conferences. Maybe those are things that are happening at the university. Maybe it's days like this, and yes, this is a snow day, and maybe, okay, this is a learning day for you, but maybe this would have been something that was completely voluntary, but it's something that's going to be beneficial to you. Take advantage of that. Attend conferences, roundtables, job fairs, all of those things that are going to be extremely beneficial to you and add to your edification, because you're looking for job opportunities once you graduate. So again, be engaged, be energetic. The last is be ready. You want to make sure that you are ready. Dr. Riggi just talked about having the appropriate social media presence. That goes a long way. You would be amazed at how many individuals have an inappropriate social media presence. To add to that, you want to make sure that you are appropriately dressed each and every day. Walk into the school looking like you are a professional. That goes back to the beginning. Be a professional every day. Yes, you are going to see other individuals, maybe seasoned teachers who are not dressed the part, but never mind. You be the professional. You set a standard for yourself. You walk in and you be professional. You be prepared, okay? Be professionally dressed, have an appropriate social media presence. Make sure that you are on time. Attendance matters. You are going to see individuals who may come late, who leave early, but you set the stage for yourself. Additionally, have an appropriate email. When you're applying for jobs, make sure that your email address is one that is appropriate. I had someone email today. This is a real situation. And it said, I think apparently this individual is a pastor, and it said, my secular email at such-and-such.com. That did not necessarily bode well. Yeah, you're laughing, Don. Exactly. I was like, well, okay, not my secular email. It's like, well, so anywho, nonetheless, just be mindful of what you're selecting as your email address, okay? Because that flips a switch for people. So be mindful of your email address. Think about what you're putting out there, even all of your engagements. If you're going to attend an athletic event for a school, or if you're attending a particular engagement day at a school, all of your interactions matter. Don't let your hair down too much, because that interaction with an administrator or a parent or a fellow colleague, simply because you say, well, it was after hours, everyone is watching. You're always on stage. And so those are always opportunities for them to do informal assessments and interviews of you. So just be mindful that everything is an opportunity for them to assess you for right fit, but you should be doing the same. Assess that school, assess those individuals to say, is this someplace that I want to work? How are they engaging with students? How are they engaging with one another? Are these colleagues with whom I want to work every day? So just be ready. So again, be a peer. Dr. George. Next slide. All right, so let's move on a little bit. Now that you know what you need to do to network each and every day, you've already gone to those events, you're engaging, you're networking. Now you say, okay, I think I'm pretty well prepared. I want to start preparing for my interview, but I'm a little bit concerned. I've networked, I feel adequately prepared, but I'm not quite sure how much interviewing and what exactly I need to do once I finish my residency piece. we need to know what the data says about interviewing. Just how much interviewing do I need and how much preparation? What does the data show? I'm gonna just give you a little bit of an overview. The data says that job seekers, all job seekers have about a 26% chance or probability of receiving a job offer. Even if you don't do much of anything, if you just apply online, you have about a 26% chance of getting a job offer. So that's because the job market says, hey, we need the people. And it's a little bit higher for teachers, honestly, because this is a teacher's market. It takes an average of 20 to 40 days to receive an offer for a job. And I have individuals who get a little bit discouraged all the time because they say, hey, Ms. Tyus, I applied, I reached out, I put my application into MNPS weeks ago, and I still haven't heard anything. I am going to be honest. It takes about that amount of time. We are a large district, 136 schools. Be patient. Sometimes you need to follow up and follow up again and follow up a few more times, but it does take a little bit of time for you to receive a job offer. That doesn't mean an offer isn't coming. Don't be discouraged. I think sometimes individuals, especially some of our early career teachers, when you're coming out of school, you expect that offer to come quickly. I'm sharing this information because things don't always happen quickly, okay? You need to know that things take time. There is a process. An offer rejection could come 8 weeks after you've applied for your first job. Again, sometimes people say, oh my gosh, I never heard anything. I didn't hear anything one way or another. That may take even longer. So just know that all of that is a process and it takes time, okay? That's why I'm sharing this information. Next slide, please. Additionally, I'm just gonna throw some questions out there. Anybody can come off mute because I want to talk to you. What percentage of job seekers do you think have a chance of receiving a job offer after just one interview? Anybody?
I'd say 5%.
Okay, all right, not bad. 5%. Go ahead. Somebody else had
20%.
That was a pretty good guess. It's actually about 26%. 26% of job seekers receive a job offer after one interview. That increases to 51% after 3 interviews. So again, the more interviews you do, the more your likelihood increases for receiving an offer. Again, I share this because, again, we're a large district. And I tell people all the time, put more offers in, do more interviews. We have a lot of individuals who say, oh my goodness, I think I found my dream school when I did my residency at XYZ school. Or I did I have a friend, I have someone who I know who graduated from Tennessee State the year before me, and now they're teaching at this school and I want to go work with them. All of that sounds well and good. It's absolutely phenomenal. It works. It feels good to have a network and to have a community at a particular location. However, it doesn't always work that way, or where that person works may not be your best fit. So you want to make sure that you're putting in the right number of applications, 1, to ensure that you're getting enough interviews, 2, to ensure that you are finding the best fit for you, because what works for Dr. Origi may not work for Ms. Tyus. She and I may not have the best fit according to what we need. She may need a different type of leader. She may need a different type of community. It just may be different for each of you. So make sure you're putting in enough applications and doing enough interviews to ensure you get enough offers, okay? And then you can choose accordingly. Additionally, I want you to make sure that you go and visit schools. MNPS, much like many other different districts, we offer the opportunity for individuals to do walkthrough Tuesdays. Go and visit any school. Go in there and see how they're greeting you when you walk into the office. See how the students are walking through the hallways. Are they dragging through the hall? And yes, students don't necessarily love school. You don't always love school, but are they walking through the hall and saying, oh man, these teachers are not necessarily friendly to them? Are teachers excited? Exactly. Are they engaged the way they should be? Do students love the business of being in that particular building because there's an energy there? Are the people in the hallways friendly? Are they friendly to one another? Are they engaging when they talk to one another, or do there seem to be some kind of discord between the peers? Just go and visit the building. You'll get a feel for it. Even when you go as a parent, you'll say, oh man, this is not some place where I want to leave my child every day. Or you'll walk out of there saying, yep, this is the right fit for my child. So you should get the same feel when you go as an employee. Next slide, please. All right, so again, the data shows that most job seekers receive one offer for every 6 applications that they submit. Goes back to my other point, you need to submit more applications. Another question, what percentage of hiring managers consider diversity as a crucial aspect of job interviews and recruitment? Anybody want to take a stab at that? Nobody wants to take a guess? What percentage of hiring managers?
Like 30.
Okay, not bad. Any other guesses?
22%.
22%. Okay, we got 30 and 22. It is actually about 46% of hiring managers, and that number is steadily increasing. And for most organizations have are considering 76% of organizations are considering diversity as a crucial aspect. So while hiring managers have listed it a little bit lower, organizations have it listed quite high. So diversity is a huge aspect or a crucial aspect of recruitment. So that is something to consider. And we don't want that to go unnoticed. Next slide, please. One more. All right, so just a general overview for the MNPS hiring timeline. Again, this is something that is pretty standard for most districts. I just want to share this with you because lastly, we get this question often. People say, you know what, I'm really not sure what it looks like when I'm thinking through hiring as a whole. I'm really not sure how to prepare. Especially if I'm a December grad or if regardless if I'm graduating in December, August, May, how do I plan? I'm going to share with you what our hiring timeline looks like to help you plan accordingly. So for our district, recruitment begins roughly in August. So we recruit pretty heavily from August to October for current year. And from October to February, we start doing early offers, okay? And do final hires for the current school year. So we do early offers, and for early offers, we're saying, hey, we think you're an amazing candidate. We see something in you. We're going to extend an early offer for the next school year. If you're going to graduate in May, say current year, if you're graduating in May of 2024, we are going to extend an offer to you to work with us for 24-25 school year. If you're graduating from one of our primary partners, and Tennessee State is a primary partner with Metro Nashville Public Schools, we know that you're graduating from one of our primary universities, i.e. Tennessee State University, and they are teaching with fidelity and to the needs of our district. We trust that you're going to graduate meeting the needs and being able to teach MNPS students the way that we need. We are going to give you a conditional agreement. That conditional agreement says that if you graduate on time, you graduate in May as you intend to, or you graduate in August as you intend to, and you don't have a background check issue, you're not going to go out here and commit a crime, you're not going to do anything crazy, and you get your license as anticipated, then we'll give you an offer. We'll hire you. It's a contingent offer. We'll hold a position for you in your area of content. As long as you do those things, we sign, you sign, and we guarantee you a position. It is binding on our end. It is not binding on your end. If at any point in time you come back and you say, Ms. Tyus, I thought I was going to come to Metro, but I've changed my mind. I'm not going to take advantage of that opportunity. I might be a little hurt. My feelings are going to be hurt. I might even shed a tear or two, but I completely understand. Then we'll not hold that offer for you and we'll move on. But that's what an early offer looks like. So from August to October, we start that recruitment. We do early offers, October to February. In February to April, we are looking at budget. We finalize our budget for the upcoming school year, which is what we're heading into right now. We're doing our budget season. So we'll do budget for the 24-25 school year. Principals are getting their budgets, which says, hey, we know exactly which positions we'll have for the upcoming school year. Once they get that, they will post those positions. We'll start doing postings in late March, early April. Those final hires will be made from April to July. And then in August, we start the hiring process all over again. But I said all that to say we're always hiring. There isn't a time where most districts aren't hiring. Everybody's always looking for stellar candidates. We're looking for those individuals who are passionate, who are eager, who are lifelong learners, who are committed to the business of ensuring that every child has a committed educator in front of them, and who firmly believes that every student can learn, and who has the ability to learn with the right educator in front of them. So if you're looking for an opportunity to do that, to lead a classroom, or to be a lifelong educator in some capacity, maybe you don't plan on being a teacher for the life of your career, but you know that you just want to get into education and use this as a stepping stone, then by all means, you just need to talk to someone and look at the opportunity. Then this is certainly a great place to begin. I'm going to leave it there. I just wanted to give you a general overview, give you some tips and strategies. I hope that helped. And then I'm going to kick it over to Dr. George. And here I'm going to drop my information in the chat. I think there's a quick question. Erica, you have a question? And while you're doing that, asking your question, I'm going to drop my information in the chat.
It's actually Jordan, sorry. My email is just Erica Jordan. But my question was, is there like master's degree programs at MNPS schools, like programs that we can get into to get your master's degree while you're teaching?
Yeah, great question. We have master's degree programs with several EPPs, with several educator prep programs. One is with Tennessee State University currently, but we have several partners who offer low or reduced cost master's degree programs and who can assist with getting your degree in several areas. We could just discuss that if you want. I just dropped my email address in the chat and happy to discuss that further.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much, Amber. Appreciate you. Good morning to everyone. And similar to Amber, I will be brief. We did build in some time, if it was okay, for questions towards the end. But as they come up, like you did, Jordan, feel free to pop in and share thoughts and ideas. I'm going to be talking about mentorship, early career preparation, and sustainability in the profession. I'll just give a brief background about myself. This is my 15th year in education. My name is Darius George. I started in education working in higher ed enrollment and advisement. I did that for 3 years. I taught for 6 years at a high school, and then I got into ed preparation. I used to work at the National Teacher Residency. I was their director of recruitment, but I also did site management, meaning I coached the residents. So the people that I recruited to be in the program, I went to sites that they were working at and actually coached them and their mentor teachers and led some of the classes for the that led to licensure for those individuals. And that's how I actually met Amber. I met her probably 6-7 years ago. We've been kind of locked in ever since. So I was on the talent trail recruiting folks in the greater Nashville area to be teachers in Nashville and in Clarksville, Tennessee, which is where I currently reside. And then I'm currently the executive director and founder of the Tennessee Educator of Color Alliance. This actually was an organization that I founded when I was still teaching. So I started the organization in 2016, which was my last academic year teaching. As I was working at the National Teacher Residency, I kind of built it up. And fortunately, got the opportunity to walk away in the pandemic in April 2020 to lead this work full time. So it has been a dream job of sorts, and to be able to lead something that you found. Brief overview and just background of the organization. Our two things, primary concepts are retaining educators of color across the state of Tennessee. That looks like having them engage in quality programming, networking opportunities, things that will allow them to stay in the profession. And then another part of the work is training them on policy and advocacy so they can be change agents in the profession. So one part is keeping them in the profession, retaining. The other part is training them around policy and advocacy. Our overall goal is that one day we see a future where the diversity of our educator workforce reflects the background of our students that we serve in the state. And this is an overview of the programming that we provide. I think the most applicable and we actually have some folks on the call, is our Ascension Project. This is a program that's exclusive to teacher candidates, folks who are teacher candidates of color that are in junior or senior year of their academic journeys at the collegiate level at traditional preparation programs. So not at teacher residencies, not at alternate licensure programs, at a traditional preparation program like TSU, Middle Tennessee State University, Trevecca, University of Tennessee, Martin, University of Tennessee. I'm naming partner schools that we partnered with previously. This is a free program. It's very prestigious and exclusive. All the things that you see included on the screen are things that you get. But in addition to that, you get access to mentorship, racial identity development, professional development, leadership development, and you also get a $1,200 stipend. A lot of the folks that have been in the program are first-generation college students. Many of them are working full-time as they're going to school to pay their way through school and pay for their living expenses. And a lot of times what we've heard over the years is that when it comes to student teaching, you don't get compensated for that. So many people are having to give up their jobs or having to give up their streams of revenue, sacrifice those streams of revenue sometimes to be able to student teach. And so this is a means of trying to help offset that a little bit while also helping prepare them for the profession outside of what they're getting at the institution that they're attending. All right, so I'm going to jump in just with some background information, things that you should know. You may already know. You may have heard some of these things before. I want to reiterate them. Tennessee, in the state of Tennessee, less than 15% of the teachers in Tennessee identify as a teacher of color. We have that number actually says 37 on there, but it's actually about 40% of the million students in the state identify as a race other than white. So 40% of the students are ideally identified as students of color, less than 15% of the teachers in the state, which is almost 70,000 teachers in the state to date, and less than 50% of them identify as a person of color. There is a financial cost for replacing teachers. When a teacher leaves a district, it can cost a district, particularly if it's a highly functioning urban district like Metro Nashville Public Schools, Memphis Shelby County, Hamilton County, and Chattanooga, Clarksville, any of the larger districts that are considered urban. It could cost a district up to $20,000 to replace a teacher as they leave. This puts an immense amount of strain on districts, especially those that have limited resources to absorb the cost of teacher attrition. Teachers of color have the highest turnover in those urban districts. It's almost double the amount as our white peers. First-year teachers are more likely to move or leave than the experienced teachers in the schools that they are. Less than 70% of new teachers in general stay at the schools in comparison to 85% of experienced teachers. So people who have a little more stake in the game, they're veteran teachers, they're more likely to stay. Folks who don't, and they're in those early career, new teachers, and in this context, new teachers are anybody that's brand new, 0 to 2 years, they're more likely to bounce around. Those teachers in particular, if they don't make it to year 3, they're more likely to leave the profession altogether. Particularly, that number is extremely higher if you are a person of color in this profession. And so of the people who enter the profession, if you are a person of color, less than 70% of educators of color stay in the profession. If they don't hit year 3, they're leaving the profession. Only 66% of teachers of color stay in the same school versus their white peers. Highly effective Black teachers are also retained at lower rates. So even if you are doing the job at a high level, the reality of potentially you being lost in the profession and being retained in the profession is lower than a highly effective white teacher. And if there are no leadership development opportunities available for you, pathways for you to be able to be sustained, pathways for you to be able to grow in different roles in the profession, you are likely to leave before the 5-year mark. Leadership opportunities help to retain educators, and those can look like a myriad of ways. So this is just broader background knowledge. You may have already known these things. You may have already been aware of these things, but definitely want to be able to highlight some of these things for you as you're navigating in the profession of where you are now. So what should you do? These are broad things I'm going to dive into a little bit deeper. Seek mentorship, even while you are currently where you are sitting in the profession, in your progression towards getting your licensure and getting your degree, seek mentorship. And that doesn't stop while you're in your institution at TSU. It also extends itself to when you actually transition into the profession too as well. Understand the challenges for early career educators. And I'll be more specific, early career educators of color too, and what that actually looks like and how you can actually advocate for yourself and curb those. and then focus on sustainability. I have worked with several university partners, and many of them will help folks in your position be able to obtain licensure, get your degree, understand instruction and pedagogy, how to teach. There are some of our university partners that don't give you a full timeline of like what are the opportunities available to you once you meet certain marks within your profession that can actually extend your shelf life in the profession. So we want to talk about sustainability, and then we'll round out with some questions. So mentorship. You've already heard this already. Amber alluded to this, but I just want to double down on it. Networking opportunities are extremely key. I think we were initially going to be in person when we were given this presentation, which would have been great because we could have had collateral. We could have brought just different things to kind of, inform you about the opportunities, one in MNPS and then the other in TECA, that could be of value to you. In those networking opportunities, you don't know who you're going to meet. A lot of times there are veteran teachers there. There are people who are subject matter experts who may not necessarily be working in school buildings or classrooms, but they could be consulting with districts on different content areas. But those are the opportunities that you want to take advantage of and be able to connect with people in ways that can help advance your career. There are folks that I've met early on in my career when I started working in education that into this day still connected to. Even as I transitioned, started working in Nashville. Like I said, I met Amber 7 years ago. We're still connected because we met in a mutual opportunity at MNPS Central Office. And when I kind of realized that she was the person behind the magic that happens in the talent space in the district, I just knew that's what I need to be connected to. And I don't think that, she probably won't say, but like the fact that she's on this call and she's the executive director of talent for the district, and this is the second largest district in the state of Tennessee, is phenomenal. Like you had an exact through line and an exact contact to someone who literally is leading talent. So those of you who are seeking job opportunities, seeking opportunities within the district, you got a direct contact to somebody who can assist you in those endeavors. The next thing is understanding the difference between mentorship and an academic and instructional coach. A lot of times when you're hired within districts, you'll have access to an academic or instructional coach that are going to help you with pedagogy, lesson planning, executing your lessons, guiding you and giving you tweaks to be able to do that well. Oftentimes, though, sometimes those people don't make the best mentors. They can be really good at helping you hone your craft, but they're not good at humanizing you in the profession. So if you think about where you are and how you show up and what you need to be successful, the difference between a mentor can be a good academic coach, but sometimes a academic coach can't be a good mentor. And some of the things that are the most painstaking in the profession have nothing to do with academic and instruction. They just don't. Partly background context for folks on the call. When I taught in a high school. I was the only Black man for 6 years. We had 6 teachers of color on the staff of 135. That was my lived experience in reality for 6 years. There's nothing that I learned in my preparation experience while I was getting my teaching license that prepared me to walk into a building and be the only Black male in 6 years. Absolutely nothing. And everything that came with that. And so while I had access to academic and instructional coaching that helped me get better at teaching, there was no level of mentorship for me to lean in for someone who had either a similar experience or could understand what I was going through and having to navigate on a day-to-day basis. And so a mentor is somebody who has some level of lived experience in the space that's very similar to yours, who can humanize you, who can be a lending ear, an encourager, and also be able to be available to you as needed. And sometimes can push you academic instruction if that's what's needed for you. But in some instances, the academic and instruction coach sometimes does not have the ability because they don't walk through life the way you walk through it to be a mentor to you. Cultivating relationships. The only way you can actually call someone a mentor and or have access to people continually is if you know how to cultivate relationships. But cultivating relationships also requires you to do some work too. That means you got to follow up. Amber just dropped her contact information here in the chat. For those of you who are on the cuffs of being able to graduate, those of you who are on the cuffs of being able to gain access to the profession here in the next year or so, following up with her and letting her know your interest potentially of working in the district is a great way of cultivating a relationship and also separating yourself from the 30 some odd people on the call here. Follow-up is extremely, extremely, extremely key. A lot of times relationships falter and they fall apart because people will not follow up. Following up could be asking for a phone call, grab coffee, meet in person, or just an email to say, hey, I want to stay connected. But there is a obligation for everybody on this call to follow up to cultivate the relationship. The other thing around that is accessibility, which also lends itself to relationship. Following up is one thing, but then also being available and accessible for the times to actually meet and connect is another thing. You following up and not being available for a call, a check-in, a meetup, defeats the purpose. It defeats the purpose. And once you're in that category of defeating the purpose, people no longer look at you in the relational context. They're just you're another person, another number, and that limits your ability to be able to navigate this profession, especially for one who's seeking mentorship. I didn't put this on here, but along with networking opportunities, the world has opened extremely vast with social media. So there's opportunities for you to connect in ways for mentorship that may not be in the same traditional sense that I'm talking about. So you may not necessarily have conversations with people, but there are a lot of people within the social media space that are talking about the things that you care about. They're leading content areas that you're going to be training in and getting a degree in and license in. And you don't necessarily have to talk to them every day, but they're providing content and access to how they navigate the profession and how they've been able to be successful that could be beneficial to you too as well. So that's not something that's exclusively listed on here, but it's something that I definitely want to highlight just so you can have it in your toolkit. Early career preparation. Amber mentioned this previously, and I just want to double down on it again. If you are a junior or senior and you're about to graduate within the next year or two, you should be researching district schools and school leaders in advance. Look at the data. Look at the Tennessee Data Downloads website page, which we'll link here in the chat, can give you access to information about the school, who's in the school, the student and body makeup. And this is beyond the extra opportunity that Amber has provided, where she says, hey, you can actually schedule an opportunity to do a walkthrough through a school. That's phenomenal. For those of you who are in Middle Tennessee right now at TSU, you may not be able to do that in Knox County or Hamilton County in Chattanooga, or a district that is further away due to travel capacities or just the time, unless you're from that district and you have connections there and you can do that. But in lieu of not being able to go physically into a building and do a walkthrough or get an opportunity to experience the district for a day, you can do your research online, looking at data, leveraging connections, and reaching out to people that you may know or are curious about through LinkedIn. Understanding what the successes and struggles are. You can look from an academic standpoint. Everybody has data that suggests where schools are at. That may not always be true because the devil's in the details, but getting you a snapshot of where you're navigating and where you want to go is extremely important, because you have a way, and you don't want to be on the back end of like, I'm about to graduate and I just need a job. That means that you'll be willing to take anything. And sometimes anything is not going to be able to sustain you in this profession. If you take that job that you financially desperately needed, but you didn't do your due diligence, the likelihood that that particular institution will be able to keep you there is probably improbable, because you took an opportunity out of desperation. Sometimes it works out, but I've seen enough to know that when you haven't done your due diligence and you didn't have any stake in you making the actual selection to make sure it was a good fit for you, that's when early career educators start to fizzle out. Understand financials. Right now in the state of Tennessee, if you're going to a traditional public school that's in a district, you can look up what the salary scale is online. So if you already know, I want to go work between Murfreesboro, which is Rutherford County, Clarksville, Montgomery County, Metro National Public Schools, and Memphis Shelby County Schools, you can go online and you can search salary scales, pay scales, to see what a starting teacher with a bachelor's degree is making upon graduation. You also need to do your due diligence and compare that to cost of living expenses and what does that look like. There's a lot of people who have taken jobs in Metro Nashville and they're living on the outskirts of Nashville and having to commute in because I'm only speaking for people that I know personally have shared this with me, because they underestimated the cost of living. They were used to living on a campus or used to living in a community housing where they had roommates, and then they graduated and was thinking that the salary that they were going to get was going to allow them to move on their own, and it did, but it didn't allow them to live in the city that they're working in. So they had to move to a city that's 45, 50 minutes outside and have to commute in to work. I'm not saying that's everybody on the call, but being aware of what you're going to make and where you're going to live and how that's going to impact your expenses and how you're going to manage that, extremely, extremely important. Being able to advocate for yourself is extremely important in this profession, especially for our young educators of color who are going to enter. I've seen it happen from people who were multilinguistic getting utilized to translate all the time during class time in times where they should be teaching. Men, men, particularly men of color and Black men particularly, being utilized as disciplinarians in the space. Folks not being able to leverage their genius in which they worked so hard for to get a degree and show that they're proficient in the content area, but being dumbed down and put in positions where they're teaching content that's either not what they signed up for and or several levels beneath what that capability are. Being able to understand those things and being able to advocate for yourself is extremely important. These are things, again, that over my years of being in the profession, I've seen it push people out of the profession. Self-care and understanding what your worth is, you have to take time to take care of yourself. In this profession, you will be called to be everything to everyone at some point in time. Uncle, brother, guardian, a shoulder to cry on, an ear to lend and listen to. And that's not only for students, that's for colleagues too. You have to draw a line of being able to understand when it's time to refill your cup, but you also have to understand too what your worth and value are. Unfortunately, sometimes those things can get diminished because people will allow you to say yes to everything. The balance of self-care, understanding worth is sometimes saying no to some things. Now, things that are going to pour into you and add value to you and restore you and position you for other opportunities, great. But when you're asked to do things consistently over and over and over again that you won't be compensated for, it becomes an expectation that you're just going to do it. That starts to weigh on you. And I can't tell you that through line and clear balance of the two, you'll feel it though. And I think sometimes when you have access to mentors, they'll lend you those stories and insights. That way you can have a better sense of when it happens, you'll know what's happening. Lean into your community. Every semester, someone's going to graduate and they're going to enter a district or a charter school or the education profession in some capacity. So you're not alone in the idea that you're going to be starting in the profession as a new educator. There's other people who are going to be going through the same thing as you, and many of you are on the call with those people right now. Some of y'all are going to graduate at the same time. Some of y'all may end up at the same schools, but definitely many of y'all, I would imagine, might end up in the same districts and school communities. Understanding and being able to lean into community of folks who are navigating a similar trek to you is extremely important. When you're in positions like I was in, and you're the only, you start to feel like you're on an island. You start to feel isolated, and isolation then becomes to starting to feel sometimes like burnout, and then burnout pushes you out of the profession. There will be times where you need to lean into your community to ensure that you're able to stay in this profession, especially in those early years while you're here, and then hone your craft. At the end of the day, everybody on here is training to be an educator. They're training to be in front of kids, and they're training to teach. I'm not saying that you're planning to do that for the entirety of your career, but while you are there, you need to be excellent at what you do. There's no greater compliment than being an excellent teacher and leading content in a way that changes the lives of students, period. People, one thing about people who have to navigate a K-12 experience, they're going to tell you one or two things. I had good teachers or I had bad teachers. You want to be on the side of good. And you want to make sure that you are honoring the profession in a way where you are leading academically and instructionally with excellence. And then the last part here is just sustainability. Have a mission and vision for yourself. If you, in this profession, it's never too early to begin to start thinking and seeing, where do I see myself down the road? Broadly, a teacher, there are educators who are counselors, there are educators who are instructional coaches. Broadly, all of us are educators, but what role do you want to play? Do you want to remain in the classroom? Do you want to be a teacher for the duration of your career? Do you want to move into instructional coaching? Would you like to consider going into administration? And the other part here is you could be like me, where it's like, I want to go work in administration and education preparation, or I want to go lead teacher development, leadership development. I think as you create this mission and vision for yourself and where you want to be, as long as the bottom line of your work is going to impact children, I consider that retention in the profession. I think we haven't caught up with the times that the shelf life of someone standing in the classroom has shifted dramatically. It used to be that you were going to stay 10, 15, 20 years and retire in the classroom sometimes if you didn't want to go into administration. That's not the case anymore. That shelf life is 3 to 5 years. There's a lot of people when they get to year 3 to 5, they're trying to think of what else is available to me. There are going to be some people who are going to say, hey, I want to stay in the classroom because that's my sweet spot and that's what I want to do. But you can also leverage your insight around content knowledge to do other things. And it could be tutoring, it could be writing books, it could be leading professional development. So as you're thinking about part of your mission and vision of getting licensed and getting a degree, I would encourage folks on the call to take it a step further and really start thinking about what is the mission and vision that I want to attach to myself for the duration of my time in the profession. What are your goals? Goals are intertwined with mission and vision. They will allow you to get and actualize that mission and vision that you establish. And then understanding and being aware of the opportunities that are available. There are a lot of opportunities that are available in the education space around leadership development, professional development, roles and opportunities. Sometimes these things are poorly communicated. There are districts that have programs that exist and have been existing for years, and sometimes people don't know about it because they just, and I'm not saying any district in particular, I know that I even worked in a district where I missed opportunities because they were never communicated to me. You have to do your due diligence, and that's part of that networking and that mentorship of asking the right questions that align to, again, your mission, vision, goals that you have. Do I need a little bit more leadership development? Do I need another degree? Is it professional development? If it's a role that I'm obtaining, how do I navigate towards that particular role and be prepared to engage in whatever's in front of me to be able to obtain it? And that's where it comes to leveraging resources. There are a lot of resources out there that you can tap into that you should easily, it should make, I want to say your life easier, but navigating towards those goals and the things that you want to accomplish, it should alleviate some of the strain and barriers and stress. Tech is absolutely one of them. We have leadership development. We have both for in-service and pre-service. We sponsor a lot of folks to go into degree programs. Sometimes we don't fully pay for degrees, but we've assisted and pay for books, or we pay for a course here or there. So there's things that we're able to do to be able to support people that will lend them to opportunities to allow them to stay in the profession longer. The only drawback to the work that I lead is I only focus on work in Tennessee. So I don't do work outside of the state of Tennessee. But aside from that, there are other resources. TSU, somebody asked about master's degrees. TSU is part of the Diverse Leaders Network, which is a combination of TSU and Austin Peay. And there may be a third institution, but it's a program that the State Department of Education provides that allows you to get a master's that leads to an administrative license for free. And it's exclusive to people from diverse backgrounds. So all of the future educators of color, once you've obtained 3 years of teaching in the profession underneath your belt, that qualifies you to be able to apply for this program. You are responsible for your books and you are responsible for the licensure exam, but the cost of tuition is covered by money that come from the State Department. That's a free master's for you to be able to go into administration. Now, you may not say, hey, I want to use this degree to actually be an administrator, but one thing about education, when you acquire more degrees, you get compensated more in most districts. So there are things like that are available to you that will allow you to be able to navigate towards goals that you want. You just got to be able to be tapped in and leverage those resources for the advancement of the mission and vision that you have for yourself. And I'll be sure to, if it's okay, to share these things out. That way, you can begin thinking about it and mapping out pathway for your sustainability in the profession. That's all I got. I'm gonna stop sharing. And I think if it's okay, we built in some time to answer questions and engage with folks on the call.
Now, I will say this, if you are a TikTok person, I know you ain't supposed to be on TikTok, but let's just go ahead and be honest. Y'all on TikTok. They will tell you that when you have a presentation or when you are participating in a presentation, you might want to ask the question. It's informative for you. And also it's an opportunity to build your network. So just don't fall back and listen. If there's something that you need to know, feel free to use this time to ask the question, especially when you're interviewing for a job and you're moving into those stages. Don't just say, are there any questions? No, like ask, how much do you pay? Do STEM teachers get paid more than ESL teachers? What are the housing realities in the area? Because the salary may be great, but there's a lot of teachers in Metro Nashville that live in Clarksville because houses are affordable in Clarksville, but they have to get up an hour and a half early because if you've been on I-24 lately, going any direction, it's not fun. It's a I-65, we're getting there. Stop moving out on I-65. But it looks a little different. So please make sure that you ask questions or you have a good gas budget. So Andrea, I see your hand up.
First, I just like to say thank you so much for all of that useful information. I was definitely taking notes. One question that I had, I missed the name of it, but you were talking about how TSU and Austin P were a part of something where you could get a free master's after 3 years of teaching. Could you please repeat that for me?
Yeah, that's a program called the Diverse Leaders Network. And it's spearheaded by the Tennessee Department of Education. Over the last 3 years, they've had cohorts of people. It's two parts of it. It's a larger network that each district in the state of Tennessee can nominate somebody to go to this program. Unfortunately, due to the lack of diversity in that program, we kind of advocated that, hey, there should be some dollars set aside for an exclusive collective of educators of color to actually gain access to the opportunity. Because if a superintendent gets to make the nomination for one teacher, well, right now, unfortunately, there's 7 superintendents in the state of Tennessee that identify as something other than white. And we didn't feel that that was going to be equitable for folks to be able to get access to the opportunity. So they created a cohort every year, 25 to 30 educators of color across the state to be able to get into a master's program that either Austin P or TSU that would allow them to get a master's in administration, at least an administrator license year over year. I don't know if they're going to do it this year. I haven't heard. It's definitely attached to a pot of money. But once you have taught 3 years within have 3 years of service underneath your teaching license, it qualifies you to be able to apply for the program. And I spelled that wrong in the chat.
Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely.
Not Erica Jordan. I'm just playing with you. I know.
I had a question of Dr. George, what you were saying at the beginning of your presentation about like students who go into residency and who have to quit their job. I was kind of like wondering, do I like sign up for a program like that, or like how do I qualify to be a part of that?
Absolutely. So we actually we used to run that program every semester. And from our feedback, people wanted more time in the program. And so we moved that program to a year-long fellowship. And because we extended it a year long, we upped the stipend too as well. We open up the applications every year. Those applications will open closer towards the springtime. So around March-ish, before the semester ends, we'll be opening up the applications for that to our partner schools. Typically, we normally select 2 to 4 people from institutions. So TSU's in the network, Lipscomb, UT Knoxville, UT Martin, Austin P, MTSU, Trevecca, University of Memphis. It's a collective of kind of what we were talking about, building that community of folks who are on a similar trek as you navigate towards the profession, in addition to also giving you access to kind of that hidden curriculum where in many cases and I would assume that y'all might get some of this in your preparation experience at TSU, but a lot of people aren't getting it in other institutions around what the realities are of being a teacher of color in the space. And so part of that is also understanding that, even with the student teaching, the compensation isn't there. And many of 80% of our people in our program, that was one of the big complaints of like them literally having to make a rent, car note, light, water bill, and they're not able to work. And so a lot of times what they're doing is they're doing their clinical experience during the week, but they're doing 10, 12-hour shifts on the weekend and make ends meet. So we also provide a $1,200 stipend as a means to be able to offset some of that financial strain people are experiencing. But the application will open in the spring here in a couple months, and we'll definitely be able to share it with folks on the call for sure. I'm dropping more information about that in the chat too, as well as the Diverse Leaders Network. That's the link for the Diverse Leaders Network. And then I'll drop more information about this Ascension project in the chat.
Just to clarify, the application that you're sending now, that would be for next year?
So the application isn't open yet, but when it does open, when we do send the application, I'll make sure if it's okay. I think on the calendar invite, your email addresses are on there. So as long as you're okay with me sending you a direct email, I can send you a direct email and it will say, hey, opportunity to apply. I will send it to you directly. You just need to apply. The only thing is because this is a we budgeted for this program and we're also paying people to participate. It's very prestigious, and so we're not going to select everybody. We're only going to select anywhere between 2 to 4 people per institution. And so just understand that it's no slight at you, but we're going to choose the best of the best.
Thank you for that. Deontay, I see your hand up, and then Chelsea, you're next in the queue after him.
Yes. So I noticed that certain school districts like St. Louis offer relocation accommodations and things of that nature. Does Nashville Public Schools offer that as well, or any other districts around here as well?
That's a great question. We currently do not offer relocation assistance. That is something that we are reconsidering. If we look to offer relocation, it would be available to those individuals who are moving from within. I think it's when we did it before, you had to be relocating from more than 300 miles away. And our relocation stipend was, I think, $1,500. So we have asked for that to be put in our aspirational budget. So if it gets approved, we'll know as early as mid-February. But as of right now, we do not have relocation assistance. But it is something we have looked to put back in our budget. Now, as far as other districts, I'm not sure.
But now, Chelsea, let me before you go, Chelsea, let me say this, Mr. Newborn. We have one of our residency candidates, well, she's no longer a Residency II candidate. She's she's a district employee of the district for Metro Nashville. My babies are growing up, but she may or may not be living on campus, but will be receiving that lovely teacher of record salary. So if you think about that, while some of y'all are on that ramen noodles budget right now, ain't no shame in ramen noodles. Shrimp and chicken are my favorite 2 packets. It is a very nice, it's nice to know that the state recognized and the district recognized the hardship and the transition that you are making in making that shift from being a college student to the teaching profession, especially when you live in a metropolitan area like Memphis, Metro Nashville, Clarksville, Chattanooga, Knox County, even Murfreesboro now. The housing crisis is real. So the comments that were made in their presentation is even more significant because when they're making those offers, you have to be ready to make that shift. And so, yeah, some of you in terms of thinking about like, and we can have this conversation at a much later date because I'm a really good shopper at a low cost. I know how to get my gigs and my attire ready. But when you're thinking about outfits, just go on YouTube. Since I keep shouting out TikTok, go on YouTube, type in Steve Harvey and those 75 outfits, that blue, that khaki, those blacks, that will get you through the week. And ladies, get you those good tops that will make it through. But you want to make sure that you are ready because and when you're thinking about relocating and things like that, again, those are the great questions that you want to ask. But many of you will maybe in a different situation where you're a college student who is actually working for the district in the dorms. And that's okay. Just make sure you get your sleep. And if you need help grading papers, just bring everybody in your suite in. Say, get down on these lesson plans. Don't let them. I know who some of y'all roommates are. They need to do their homework. Chelsea, you're up.
Hello, everyone. This has been a very informal meeting, but my question has to do with like, how do you go about navigating trying to find a job somewhere you've never been before? Like, because I'm personally from Detroit, but I know when you said something about the Lions, I was like, but how do I navigate like trying to figure out a living situation, a school to teach at, as well as a master's program somewhere I'm not from? Like, because I'm going to be a music educator, and the band world is like way more evolved and down south, so I'm probably going to have to be down here. So how do I go about like navigating areas I've never been?
So you're from Detroit, but you want to figure out how to navigate this area. I just want to make sure I understand, Chelsea. Okay,
Yeah.
so I think you have a couple different options, and I'll also defer to Dyrese as well to give his view. But I think you lean on the network. One, you have your university network, and then you also lean on your where you're looking to work. Okay, you lean on those departments, you lean on the partner agencies. We have large networks. I will use my organization, I'll use MNPS to start, but you lean on the HR department. You always start there. You certainly start with doing your research. You start with where you potentially want to work. Start there, do your research and say, if this is someplace where I think I want to work, start with doing the research with the organization, figure out where you potentially want to be. Research those schools, research the organization, and see if that's someplace you want to be, and then reach out to someone within the organization. You have my contact information. Thankfully, I'm here with you today. And so you're more than welcome to start with someone like myself and say, okay, how can you assist me? From there, I am more than happy to put you in touch with, if you say, I don't know that it's Metro Nashville, perhaps it is another district within this general region. Dyrese has an even more vast network than I do, but you start to reach out to those particular districts, charter networks, etc., and work that and start to network with persons within that particular organization. But it's just communicating and reaching out to them. But it starts with you doing the homework first and understanding what it is about that particular organization that speaks to you. You have to figure out if it's something within there that stands out. Are you connected to their mission? Are you connected to the vision? Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But if it's something about them that stands out, then you go from there. And then you figure out if that's someplace that you want to work with. And then you figure out if you have a partner. Does the university have someone who graduated from there? Do they already have a connect within there that they can partner you with and pair you with? Maybe there's someone within there who can already serve as a mentor or a point of contact. So you just work your network. Certainly there's someone who's already within there that can serve as a point of contact for you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.
Agree. And if you don't,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. If you don't, Chelsea, mind sharing your contact information. I don't know if you, when you said that, you said here, like generally in the South, or more specifically like the greater Nashville area. But you know, one of my former board members, Franklin Willis, is now the recently been appointed the new director for fine arts in Metro Nashville Public Schools. Actually just started January. Know him directly. He's a longtime music educator. You know, all the awards you can think of, but like, that's a great person. He's actually setting the mission and vision for fine arts across the district. But more importantly, like, he's a 19-year music educator. So what you want to know about music education in the greater MNPS district, he'll know. He's actually setting that mission and vision in real time. Happy to make a connection with you. He's the type of person that he will probably want to meet with you, grab a coffee, talk to you a little bit more about that. He's taught at different different schools across the district. And before he was in that role, he also was a instructional coach for early career music educators in the district, and he worked for CMA too as well. He just left CMA to come back to the district. So again, that network definitely can tap you in. And if there are districts that you're interested in, I know a lot of music educators across different districts in the state, in addition to the capacity that Franklin's in. I know some of those fine arts directors too as well. Happy to make connections for you if that's what you need.
Okay, thank you very much. I definitely will be reaching out to both of you.
And then my my add-on to that would be for all of you, behind the scenes, we will also be reaching out. Again, you're all members of the Student Tennessee Education Association. We will be reaching out to the local education organizations. Metro Nashville is MEA, the Metro Nashville Education Association, also Sumner County, Robertson County. I feel like I have one that made their way into Wilson County. We'll be reaching out to them because we like to let them know that our candidates are coming. And so in terms of what Ms. Tyus was saying, and from my notes of major takeaways, it is important that you are visible in the district. People just not, no one in all of my 45 years have walked up and said, do you need a job? And again, I'm from Detroit. If they do, it ain't oftentimes for good reasons. So you pass those individuals by. So if you are really serious about it, it does make a difference. And I want to give a shout out to our STEA president and our officers on the call. I know several of them went out to school board meetings in the fall. You get together, go like, let's go to the school board meeting, and it's right down the street, I think, from Applebee's. So if you need STEA to coordinate that so you guys don't feel weird going by yourself, we can go to a school board meeting, sit, find out what's going on in the district, and then also, fellowship after that. Similarly, reach out to, you'll be surprised, reach out to some of your professors to find out. And Miss Tyus, don't be confused by that ugly red balloon in her background. She's also an AKA. So you guys better start using your sororities and your fraternities and take that balloon down. It's upsetting each other. But reach out to your networks, because again, when I commuted and was leaving UT Martin, because I knew I wasn't going to teach in West Tennessee, and made my way to grad school here in Nashville. Shout out to Faye Stewart. She was an AKA, and I worked with her through TEA as I was working as a state officer. And she goes, I got you. Let me get you in contact with the president. We'll look out for you. Here's the schools, and they can also help connect you if you need to go to that district to kind of look around. Because again, Sumner County, y'all fooled me, that map makes it look like everything is real close together. But from Gallatin to Castellana Springs, you need to have a good Lunchable or 5, because it's not a, don't laugh, Cameron, y'all lied to me when y'all said go that way. But that's why your school district's closed, because those back roads, they're not ready for me yet. They're not ready. But you need to know where you're going, because you'll just see a Google map. And you're like, I can work there. I can live there. How far is it from the mall? I know how y'all do your search. How far is it from Rivergate Mall? Okay. Start at Rivergate Mall and drive. And count how many Taco Bells that you pass, because some of y'all gonna still be on a Taco Bell budget before you get that first paycheck. I'm just gonna forewarn you right now. But those little $2 tacos gonna make you feel real good. But ask the questions, bother me, bother our team to make sure that you are getting the connections that you need to have. Because again, the time between now and when you actually start getting some of those job offer letters, maybe sooner than you know.
Dr. Riggi, can I say one other thing, please?
Sure you can.
And then I'll thank you. So you made a great point. Last thing, be open to all opportunities. Sometimes the distance between your first offer is longer than you anticipate. Be open to substituting for whatever district you're amenable to. I know that doesn't always feel good, because we say, man, I needed a much heftier check. I have bills to pay. Be open to all opportunities. I didn't tell my story much like Dr. George, but I started as a substitute teacher with the district some time ago. I'll just say that when I graduated from Fisk University, I started as a substitute, and I thought, you know what, this will help me decide if I want to be a teacher. That was not my trajectory. The Lord knew I did not have a desire to teach, honestly, but I did want to be part of the helping profession and go into education in some shape, form, or fashion. And ultimately mine just looked different. My trajectory looked different, but I love the work that I do. So some of you will find that maybe you started off this pathway and you still want to be an educator, but it is not in the traditional sense. And that is totally okay. But be open to all opportunities. Perhaps it looks like being a substitute. Perhaps it's serving as a tutor. It can be any number of roles. Understand that districts are large organizations. I think people don't understand that Metro Nashville Public Schools itself is the 4th largest employer in Nashville. We are a large organization, and that gets overlooked often. Shelby County Schools is a large organization in Memphis, and that gets overlooked. So wherever you're looking to work, understand that the school system needs a number of employees to keep it running sufficiently. And we need all of those individuals, from the accountant to the IT professional, to the teacher, the HR professional, the business analyst, whatever it is you're going to do. And ultimately, we all do the work of serving students, whether that is directly or indirectly. Okay, so you could decide that right now, today, you're looking to teach, but that could shift. but ultimately it all makes a difference because it takes each and every one of us to do the business of serving students. So I'm just saying, don't overlook any opportunity because it all makes a difference. As Dr. George was mentioning, you could decide to go through that pathway to get the master's degree, which will ultimately look to increase your pay, but that doesn't mean you have to become an administrator. You just may take that bump in salary, but still do something totally different. Use whatever avenue you decide to use to benefit yourself. And while that may look different, that could still serve you well. So be open to any and all opportunity. That's all I'm going to say to you. I think there was a hand.
Yes. Deontay, you're up.
So, okay, I have 3 questions. So I know each district is different when it goes about the hiring process for substituting and things in the requirements. How does Metro Nashville go about getting substitutes? Like some districts have where there's an app and it's the whole thing.
Yeah, great question. So we do have an application process, pretty straightforward. I am going to drop the application page in the chat, but you would apply online. You have to have a minimum of 60 credit hours of college coursework, relatively straightforward, and you complete an online test at steady.org, STEDI.org. As long as you have those 2 things, a minimum of 60 credit hours, can provide an official transcript showing you have that, and complete the online assessment through steady.org, then you meet the requirements for the role. Again, you do have to do a background check. Everyone completes a background check for the position. You pass background check, then we have you go through an orientation. I was double checking, and I'm going to defer to Dr. Origi. I'm putting her on the spot. Are residents allowed to substitute while going through residency? I don't know if that's still a thing or not.
So they cannot,
Okay.
because they have classes like Monday, Wednesday, and then they're in residency Tuesday, Thursday. But what a lot of candidates will do this semester, if they haven't already done so in the fall, they will go ahead and sign up for a sub in their district, and they'll go ahead and catch those available days, because some of you have like all online classes, especially my STEM crew. If you have free days, I would definitely make sure that I'm out at whatever middle school, high school. You can go to elementary, but I'm telling you, they might try to snatch you up with real lesson plans at those middle school and high schools on those off days. And that's a great thing to consider in terms of building up your praxis budget for testing, if you have any tests to do. And Metro Nashville is really great at giving you a lot of different filters, so you can select your days. You can even go as far as, so I think this is still true, because I was very strategic about mine, setting up clusters or areas within the district that you want to work to or work in. So you're not driving all across the county. And then you can say half day or whole day. So you can pretty much say, I will do all days or any part of the district, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, but I would only like to be here on Tuesday, Thursday, half day or whatnot. So you can really customize your schedule, because when they say that they need you, they need you.
That is still all very true. And one of the other things that we are amenable to, I've done this for other partners, we will host, if we have a large enough group, I am willing to host orientations on campus. I've done this for several of our other primary partners, but if we have a large enough group, I'm willing to host an orientation for our partners on campus.
Is there a minimum number?
I've done it for groups as small as 10 and as large as 50 plus. So.
Okay, so I know there's more than 10 on this call. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely email me so we can at least get 10 in. And then also share with your friends, because several of them, they need some money. They spend all that money on homecoming week. No shade, but it's true. So if you know anybody else that needs, some extra funds and specific days, tell them to come along, because that's not just an education major type of a thing, but certainly for our STEM areas, biology, chemistry, our secondary group, just let them know so that if we have 10, we can certainly bring them in and use it as an opportunity, just as Ms. Ty has said, to expand their horizon of all the educational opportunities, but that pathway is oftentimes through subbing. Deontay, did you have other questions? I saw Janae's hand, but I know you said you had several, so go ahead.
Okay, last 2. Number 1, does the TB skin test hurt? And then number two, what can I do to make myself during the hiring process more competitive against my peers, especially within my field of music education?
The TB skin test is no longer required. Does it? Yeah. So you don't have to worry about that. Disregard.
It is for our program, so that's so.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking
So
for
maybe
it was
not,
still on
don't
our
worry about
page.
that. Not, maybe not so much for the district. We don't always know where all of you guys are going. Right now, you have one district on here and you'll say, I don't have to do a TB skin test, and then you'll find a boo, and then next thing you know, you're like, we got a room in Murfreesboro and I need that skin test. So don't put that on her. That's me. That's me. Go and get the little needle prick and go and move out the way. Sorry, Miss Size. The other question. There was a second part. There was the making. I take the skin test. You take the one on how do you make yourself more marketable.
No worries. How do you make yourself more marketable? I had this question the other day on a panel, and I'll be honest with you, Mr. Newborn. I think it's not about making yourself more marketable than the next person. It's about being authentic and being your most genuine self. That's what hiring managers, that's what we're all looking for. It's about you being the most authentic candidate. And if you bring your most authentic self to the table and you explain why you're the best fit for the job because you are you, what are you bringing to the table that is going to be the best fit for the role? How are you going to set a standard that says, okay, yep, this is why I should be hired? I think you bring those answers and you say why we should consider Mr. Newborn, that in and of itself will be valid. Don't compare yourself to the next individual. You are only setting the standard for yourself.
All right, I have the questions and come back. Okay, Janae, I show that you're up next, followed by Brianna and not Erica, but Jordan.
Okay, I had two questions. I wanted to know, do you think you guys will be at the career fair that's coming up, that Tennessee State University is having?
Is this a general fair or an educational fair?
I think it's general fair.
It's on my calendar, I show it as March the 22nd, the university career fair.
And let me check the calendar and I'll let you know. But if we can move to the next question while I'm checking that, I'll certainly let you know.
Okay, and then my second question is, I think you kind of already answered it, but my question was, how do you guys separate? So like in the teaching world today, because of the teacher shortage, like a lot of districts have like lowered their requirements, and some people don't necessarily have to have a degree in things. Does that for like, well, at least for this district, does that like play a major part in like the hiring process? Yeah, does that play a major part in the hiring process?
So I will say that we have not lowered our standards to the point that individuals don't have to have a degree. All of our candidates must have a degree and a license of some sort. So let me dispel that. They have to have either an emergency license issued by the Tennessee Department of Education, which would be a permit, or a waiver, which means that someone already has a license and they're teaching outside of their endorsement area. So they have to have a practitioner's license or an emergency license. So we do not hire anyone to teach who does not have a degree and a license of some type. So we are always looking for individuals who are qualified to teach and who meet state mandates.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And no, we are not signed up to attend that event. However, that may be something we sign up to do. Thank you for putting that on the radar. We typically attend the educational fairs, but that may be something we amend and attend that event. Thank you.
Next on my list, I have Brianna, followed by Jordan.
Hi, I'm Brianna. I was just trying to see, going back to TECA, how was that thought about? Like, why did y'all come up with that? And like the branches of it and things like that?
Yeah, I give you the the 60-second version. I got kind of duped into being the disciplinarian in the school that I was in because I just typically work really well with Black children. And I got encouraged to go down an administrative path. So I did all the coursework, but decided not to get the license because I didn't see myself doing that job. I was looking for other opportunities in my district, and literally all the opportunities were attached to me having the admin license. So in order for me to even be considered for a job at central office or certain things that I was interested in, you had to have the administrative license. I knew that that's just not what I wanted to do. I ended up getting involved in this fellowship, and I did a couple of them. And the fellowships, in many of the fellowships that I did, like I was the only Black male again there, and I realized that was a problem. So the organization that I created was actually a project for one of the fellowships that I was in. And I just morphed it into an organization based off of the feedback that I got from some of my peers and people that were in my life at the time that were educators. And so, again, like I'm saying, deeply invested in education, want to stay in the education space. Even though I created an organization in 2016, I didn't start working for it until 2020. You know, the ideal of like building something and becoming an entrepreneur, and all that costs revenue and money. And for a long time, the money that I was getting was very small. It was 20,000 here, 30,000 there, and me pulling money out of my own pocket. And then eventually, I got some national grants that allowed me to quit my job and just focus on this full time. So this is the almost the end of year 4 doing this full time, and hope to continue doing it for foreseeable future. But lived experience was the key factor of getting into this kind of work. Tired of being the only, and realizing there were a lot more people in the space. They just weren't in my community. And we don't get to coalesce on screens like this a lot. So that was the driving motivator for creating that.
All right, Jordan, you're up.
I had a question for me and my peers who are early childhood education majors. Could that potentially like limit like our job opportunities or like what we're able to actually get into because we're limited to early childhood education?
Jordan, it will do just the opposite. We are so in need. That is now a high needs area for most districts. Early childhood has now become one of those areas where most of us cannot find enough early childhood educators. So no, thank you for signing on to be early childhood, and we're excited to know that you're out there. And now I've just made a mental note that you're there, and I'll be looking to hear from you.
What is the grade band that early childhood covers? I know it's the early part, but like I know it also goes up to like a particular grade too as well.
Typically pre-K through 3, isn't it?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Pre-K through 3. Okay. I will also offer this up too. We had a handful of folks that are early childhood educators that are in our program from MTSU asked the same question. Another just putting it in your toolbox. And I don't mean to be in conflict to Amber. I know she works for the district. But there's a couple people who I have connections at the Head Start, and the lady who actually hires for Head Start, she and I went to college together. So we know each other for several years, but she is the person who makes the hiring decision. And there's a lot of people who came out of MTSU that didn't know that was an option. And so there was some of those early career child educators that ended up going to Head Start. And for them, these are first generation college students. Many of them probably never made working wise over $20,000, but Head Start starts at $53,000. And that's a viable option for someone who's in early career. And, they don't want to just limit to the opportunity of a school district, because the pre-K, and particularly these people wanted to work with pre-K, and Amber knows like pre-K teacher roles sometimes could be hit or miss. They may be available, but sometimes not everybody has a pre-K site, and so they're scooped up. And so if you want to extend the visibility of your early childhood education degree, consider Head Starts and some of those early learning education centers too as well. They need teachers. I know right now Head Start needs teachers pretty bad. They had to actually close a site down because of the lack of teachers not being available. So if you're interested and want that connection, happy to do that as well.
We all do. And I think at this point, consider all of your options. It doesn't take anything away from any of us. And while it is competitive, this is an opportunity for you to consider all of your options. It doesn't take anything away from, while I'm here representing the district, I'm also here for your best interest. And I want you to understand that it does you a world of good to explore your best fit. And sometimes it could be that you started Head Start and you decide, okay, I've cut my teeth there and I got exactly the foundational skills that I need. And now I'm going to take that over here and go to a district, and then I'm going to go somewhere else. Very few educators remain anywhere for their lifetime. That is not how this works anymore. And we understand that you are going to light somewhere for a season, and that is okay. So if you come and light with us for a few years and then go elsewhere, that's okay too. We just want you to find where you're going to be great and do that and do it well.
And I will also add to that, just on my own path, which kind of speaks to some of the questions that have been out there. And Cameron, I do see your hand up. As you're thinking about just the education field as a whole, this is also where looking at what you love. Like I got into teaching, I love teaching, but I'm a tech nerd. And I was like, ooh, I can give me a good website this is my love. And I found myself using my general administration leadership to navigate that into my role here at TSU. Still doing teacher ed, but now I'm doing ed tech as well. For a lot of our early childhood audiences and candidates, they're looking at their CDA. They're also looking at getting that master's degree, maybe in leadership or whatnot, because they see the landscape. They've looked at the needs of the district and they're saying, hey, this might be an opportunity for me to open up my own child care center to support the district. I'm aware of the standards and the needs of the school district in terms of K-12 and formal education readiness, but I also honor my love. And maybe I don't want to be the teacher in the classroom, but I want to be the teacher in that agency that is helping to bring all of those colleagues together. So yeah, I know right now you're saying, but Dr. Reed, I'm just a junior. Life moves quickly, folks, and you will find yourself looking at those opportunities and getting in those professional circles, which is why I value and appreciate all the questions that are coming forth, because a lot of you, those light bulbs may not all be all the way on, but they're not off. And you're saying, I'm hearing something that may help me move and not feel so just limited to one particular career path. Before I take Cameron's question, I am going to hold Cameron as the last question. So please utilize the chat or bother me so I can get your questions out to everyone else. In the chat, Janae has put the information for the next MNPS school board meeting. I think STEA is going out in January. So please just direct your attention to that. Also, there was something else in the chat that I was directing your attention to. Ms. Ty has put in the information about subbing under MNPS.org careers. I also want to say, Sumner County, I didn't forget about you. Dr. Justin Alexander, he did a presentation, one of the PD Fridays in the fall. He's also a TSU alum, but he's going to be that point of contact. So if you're thinking, I'm not in Metro Nashville, I'm in Sumner County. I got friends out there too. I got you. I have friends there. And I'm making friends. I have friends in Macon County because his daughter was playing TSU at she's at Trevecca and was playing TSU for our basketball game. So I got a chance to meet him and give him a TSU cup. I said, you'll be a traitor today. I'm gonna send my candidates out to you. You can cheer for your daughter, but here's your TSU cup. But we have connections in a lot of our partner school districts. And if you go to the 10 state website or our teacher ed website and you don't see a district on there and you're saying, hey, Dr. Reedy, I'm right on that Clarksville Montgomery line. Can you boom? Because they're building schools everywhere. So there's like, boom, I need you to make a friend in Clarksville Montgomery. Let us know, work with Ms. Fair to let us know now so that when we're thinking about where you will be doing your residency, we are, keep working with what I forgot. Y'all turn your cameras off on me. Y'all moved. It was who had that ugly red 7? Chelsea. It was Chelsea's comment in terms of, how do I meet people? I'll meet them for you because you don't talk to strangers. I'll meet them for you and then I'll let you know that they're cool. Okay, so Cameron, you have our last question because I do see our last presenter up. And then we'll circle back for, I saw some, I think Michael, you had your hand up, but go ahead and drop it, send it to me or to Ms. Tyus or Dr. George so that they can get it before they log off. Cameron, you're up.
Yeah, I had a question for Ms. Tyus, and this may be a district by district thing. I'm an elementary education major, but I also have IT certifications working on computers and whatnot. Would a elementary education license be able to pair with my technical certifications to be able to teach like a high school computer class?
So it's gonna, technically, no, that will be a little bit different. Your IT certifications won't necessarily help you there. We'd have to talk separately about what certifications you'll need for the computer class, but we can certainly talk offline about that, Cameron. But there's an avenue for that. Yeah, but we can certainly support you if you want to teach high school computers or if you want to teach elementary. There's a way for us to support you with either one.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
As my grandmother would say, woo child, we got a wealth of information. So I'm going to ask my pre-residency 2 candidates, and y'all get it together. I need you to unmute, and let's give our presenters a good TSU woo woo, please. Whoever got that Barry White, whoa, I'm gonna need you to get that note up together, but I'll take it for today. Whoa, okay. No, in all seriousness, Ms. Tyus, Dr. George, thank you so much for taking time out on this snow day Friday. It takes a lot. Let me tell you, it takes a lot to do it. And as you heard from Dr. George's comments, we brought in some heavy hitters from the State Department, from school districts and educational entities that are giving you jewels in terms of how to build your brand, whether you are in Nashville or our surrounding counties. And so this is very viable. Let me be clear before we transition to our next speaker. The TB test, that is a requirement for the test office because you all are going into different places and spaces, even though it's not a thing for Metro Nashville, which is good to know. So that basically means if there are any issues with your TB test and you're in Metro Nashville, hey, no sweat off your back. But that TB test will cover you for the entire residency. So you'll do one and boom, you're covered for residency 1 and residency 2 for the whole academic year. So again, as you're thinking about and starting to work on that application for senior year, deadline again, April 4th. Please make sure that you just get those things done. As soon as you get your packet in, we will go ahead and clear you off and make sure that you're good to go there. So again, Ms. Tyus, Dr. George, thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it. We are going to transition very quickly because I know that you guys you're hanging on with a wing and a prayer. Let's see, where is he moved screens? Okay, Ramik, you did this. Ramik's our residency 2 candidate. So Ramik, you did this on Wednesday. So I know you know what it feels like to be on their end when you're sitting there like, it's almost done. We're almost done. I'm going to make sure that you have the ability to share your screen real quick and to keep everyone alive, as in the words of Reverend Jesse Jackson, to keep hope alive. I'm going to share my screen real quick and let's get back on this Wheels of Name. I got 4 more gift cards for now, for this segment. I have 4 more gift cards to give away. Now watch this, because I know some of y'all like, she just did that. The first 3, where's my list going? Layla and Christina and Amaya, did you get your gift cards?
Yeah, we got them.
I got mine.
Right.
Yes, I got it.
About me and thing like, she ain't really giving them out. Boom, they got them. So we're good. All right, next go. Now wait a minute, time out. Layla, why are you still on the list? Let me pull your name off here. You ain't getting it twice, greedy. Hold on, let me pull her. Hold on, y'all. We're not gonna have any cheateration going on around here. So I need to make sure that it's fair, because some of y'all didn't catch that. Let me stop share real quick. Ramik, you not on here, so too bad. Sorry.
I'm not either.
Who's not?
Jalen Gibson.
Oh my! Look! Y'all want these Chick-fil-A gift cards? Okay, you on there now?
Thank you.
Don't stand between me and my waffle fry blessing. Okay, Here we go. Spin that wheel. All right. Who's gonna get this next gift card? Ooh, ooh, ooh. In the blue. Miss, I got all those questions. Deontay, in that, go ahead to the chat. Give me that preferred email address. Something was wrong with the TSU email address. So if you have a alternate email address instead of the my10state.edu, I'm assuming it's for like spam security, whatever. Use that if you win. So Deontay, congratulations. Number 2. Let's go. Who we got? Okay, is it gonna make it to the blue? Oh. Out of sight, Miss White. Go ahead, Jalea. Go ahead, put that email in there. 2 more, and then we'll get to Ramik. Look, everybody looking and saying, you better give me my waffle fry blessing. Chick-fil-A gift card going to Jordan. Feel like that's that Jordan, aka Erica, aka she got an alias. Okay. And last but not least, drop those emails in there if you're winning. And the last one for this round, going to, I didn't spin the wheel. Going to okay, you better hit my name. Go ahead, Kendria. Boom, 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 boom. All right, was that 2 music people? All right, play my theme music. There you go. All right, so again, go ahead and place your information in the chat. I will work on getting those out to you during Mr. Nelson's presentation. Please, let me stop share. We're gonna have our next presentation and then we'll start wrapping up. Mr. Nelson is going to be presenting to you regarding the Thurgood Marshall college. Is it college fund or he's going to talk to you about Thurgood Marshall. And I'm going to pause there, and Ramik, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, thank you so much. Can everyone hear me? Can I get a wave, a thumbs up, or something? All right, perfect. Thank you so much. I need y'all to listen. Whatever y'all doing, stop. I know y'all sleep and tired or whatever y'all got to do, but wake up because now y'all need to get this information, okay? Let me share my screen for 2 seconds. I hope I got y'all attention with that because I know y'all tired. I just did this Wednesday, so I understand. Just bear with me, okay? All right, cool. Let me pull this up. All right, hold on. Just bear with me. But technology, I'm trying. I'm a music major, I ain't a technology major. All right, cool. First and foremost, if you do not know who I am, I go by Mr. Nelson, but I am Ramik Nelson. I'm currently pursuing a Bachelor of Science in Music Education with a concentration in instrumental music. So shout out to my music ed majors on the call. And last year, actually, I was a TQRP pre-service fellow. And then, a couple of introductions. I love music, I love seafood, and my favorite color is blue. Moving right along. Ooh, that's my next little point. TQRP. What is TQRP's mission? TQRP is actually, if I even read this, TQRP is a program under the Thurgood Marshall College Fund, or TMCF, said it right. Program where basically think of an overview. It's a program where we actually give back and support African American teachers. TQRP mission is to train and retain highly qualified teachers from publicly supported HBCUs to teach in high needed rural and urban schools, which we all know that, especially being in our HBCU, one thing we're really big about is like family connections and stuff like that. So basically, going back to where I was at in your place, I'm about to go into my residency 1 in the fall, and I'm like, dang, I need some programs to apply. So literally, I was probably somebody's class at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was applying for scholarships, which if you don't already, apply for their scholarships because get your school paid for. Stop playing. No student loans in 2024, all right? So I applied for this program. Super simple, and I'll kind of go through the application too as well. But I'm gonna go to my next slide. I was kind of talk about like my experience overall. So this was my experience, right? First day, I'm gonna play this video in a second. High energy, met so many different people. Basically, kind of sort of what it is basically it's a 2 weeks, which is 10 days. I was actually in Washington D.C. from July 10th through the 20th, and we was basically there, and everything. Let me tell you something. It's all paid expense. There's no application fee. It's all paid expense. Let me tell you something. They flew me on Southwest. I had the 2 free check bags. They did not play. They make sure they do our people right, okay? Please apply. They sent us there free of charge. They put us in the best hotel in Washington, D.C. These are the hotel people from Congress that fly in stay in. Okay. I think the hotel room was like $2,000 a night. I didn't pay for it. They did. So we was in a really nice hotel. And it was a really good experience. They tell you what to wear every day. Some days we were business professionals. This particular day, it was like Rep Your HBCU Day. So this was like my Music Greek family. That's, that's on here. All of us, KK Side TBS, Find Me Out, was on here. TSU Day. These are my TSU family, which you see, we're kind of small, so I'm talking to you all today so we can grow and expand that so we can like get more fellows out there. And also this cool jersey I got, which I'm wearing it today, they got for free. But basically, the experience was like so amazing. Like I said, they flew us out. They gave us Uber cards. I had to pay for no transportation. They gave us a bus card. They took us to different places every day. We went to what's it called? The Health Science Museum. We went to we also had this dinner, and let me tell you something. They do not play by their food. We had crack claws. Like, I kid you not. It was, yes. I mean, and the Secretary of Education came and spoke to as well. It was so great. I said, you know what? I'm in heaven. I'm not gonna leave. I said, we gotta treat our people right, and they knew how to do it. So, say not to say, this is like my whole experience, everything, and they teach you different things, which overall what you're watching is my actual portfolio you have to make. So during your experience, you have two different big projects to complete. You have a portfolio you have to complete, which this portfolio actually landed me a couple like job offers at the Career Development Center Fair. So do this so you can know how to actually, business professionally market yourself. So basically just teach your portfolio is basically of your whole practicum experience. That's one. Also, the second thing you have to do is actually a practicum experience. So basically, I was paired with two other mentor teachers. One is Miss Stewart. She's actually teaching now in Metro School. She's TSU alum, and Miss Dubose Autumn. And we basically kind of co-taught a lesson. Now, first and foremost, I'm a music major. Some of y'all music majors on this call. They said you got to teach a STEM lesson. I said, listen, I do not do STEM, but some of y'all do. So, use that to your advantage. And I said, okay, listen, this is what we want to do. I actually got to be able to incorporate my music skills and teach an actual STEM lesson. So it provided me the opportunity to teach a 45-minute lesson and co-teach for the first time. I never stepped in front of a classroom, never stepped in front of kids, never nothing. But going through this program, it gave me actual tools and opportunity and resources to like actually go out and do that. And we was in Washington, D.C., and they took us to the very rural area of D.C. to teach some kids, okay? And it was summer school. So without this program, I definitely wouldn't feel supported to actually even do that. So I'm kind of just going to skim through my presentation. So basically kind of a couple things to talk about was like a 5E lesson plan, how to actually unpack a lesson plan, cultural relatable teaching, which basically a lot of times as we give these boring, we all know what a boring teacher looks like. We have to sometimes make lessons relate to them. So we actually got a chance to actually understand what these things are. Classroom management. I didn't know. The biggest thing they tell you, because it's a big decorative support, is as a first-year teacher, the biggest thing you want to have is classroom management. Because you're trying to be cool. You're trying to be that, oh, Mr. Nelson's cool. No. The classroom knowledge management, you're going to be with world-class mentor teachers around the country that's going to be able to support you and teach you how to do these things, which actually helped me in my residency 1 in the fall. Differentiating instruction, how to actually incorporate the lessons to different tiers and levels. And it's like a whole bunch of stuff. I'm keep going through social emotional learning, formative assessment, student engagement strategies. And just talking about my practicum experience, you actually, let me pause this. And also too, I'm gonna drop in the chat too as well, and I'm gonna take open floor for questions too as well. I'm trying to, be respectful of people's time, so I'm moving a little fast. My practicum experience, basically on July 17th, along with two other people, I went to Johnson Middle School in Washington, D.C., and basically I had to teach a 45-minute lesson with two other co-teachers. We did basically a lesson on how to teach context clues in music, and we had to do everything by ourselves. It was like we had two mentor teachers, but it said, hey, y'all got to do a lesson plan. Y'all got to get the teacher materials. Y'all got to use, technology in your lesson. So we use Nearpod, which is actually a great resource for my elementary and middle school people. Yeah, I have a link to that too as well if y'all kind of want more information about Nearpod, but I didn't know about these resources until I came to TQRP. But we actually got to teach a lesson, which is actually interesting because it taught me that this term you're going to learn in your education as you're moving forward. It's this thing called smile and pivot. Because a lot of times, stuff's not going to go right, technology's not going to go well, and you just going to have to learn how to smile and pivot. And this program taught me how to smile and pivot. Every day we woke up, let me tell you something. I think this is it. Okay, let me go to my video too because I want y'all. This was my everyday morning. Okay, I'm gonna play the video. Everybody can see the video. This is my everyday morning. We turning up every day. 7 o'clock in the morning.
And y'all couldn't even give me a whoop whoop.
Let's go. Yeah, let's go. Like literally, all these people from HBCUs across the country, like we're turning up every day. Like these people taught me, like, hey, because I was not a morning person, but these people taught me, said, listen, you gotta wake up every day with energy, turn up, turn these kids up in a good way, of course, classroom management, but like have high energy, and they kind of taught me that. And also just being in a room with people, like a lot of y'all heard y'all say y'all want to get into like higher education leadership stuff like that. These people hold these degrees. These people are alumni of these HBCUs and understand the struggle. So you actually get to like talk to these people. And even past my practicum experience, we still have I'm in a secondary mentoring group for secondary education majors where one of our alumni, Dr. Farr, I think she was I want to say she was 17 actually. She's a graduate of the program. She actually mentors me too as well. Also, Dr. Blake, we have a male mentoring too as well, which I'm gonna give you a couple key points. I know I'm trying to give y'all all the goods, but I want to give y'all some information too as well. So, if you don't know, you probably scan this. I'm dropping the chat too as well. The application is open to March 1st, right? What makes you eligible? You have to have a 3.0 GPA. You have to be a U.S. citizen, of course, which I hopefully all of us are. You have to be a current HBCU student or alum. So alums can apply too. So anybody on the call, if you want to apply, if you already graduated, even Dr. Reed, if you want to apply and be a mentor, you can apply. Like they'll pay for you to go out. So yeah, be an educational STEM major. If you know some people who are engineering majors in science technology and they want to get in the field of education, send this to them because this is a great opportunity to segue them into education. It's a great way to actually see, hey, am I actually going to be a good teacher? Because it's going to put you in a real classroom with real life kids and you got to teach for 45 minutes by yourself. So this is going to really like let you know like, hey, is this really for me? Of course, it says engage and interact online support sessions throughout the year, a successful completion of the criminal background check, which of course we do this anyway because we're educators. This two actually is from July 14th to the 25th. So everyone who has pre-engagements in the summer, they do actually work with you. So like say for you have to leave a day early, come a day late. Only thing you gotta do is communicate. That's the biggest thing. But we do ask that you're like there for the whole time because you do not want to miss it. Because it's so much. You gonna go through a lot in 10 days, but you're gonna grow so much as a person. The biggest thing we're focusing on this year is male educators, STEM too as well, and it's a 1 to 5 year basically fellowship. So like I was a first year fellow. This year I'll be a second year fellow. It's a 5 year program, and you graduate out. Let me tell you something. When I tell you they got money, and I don't want to hold up too much people's time, but I just want to brag about CQRP. They was giving out the first day $10,000 scholarships. The people second year fellows. Like I was like, what has happened? They gave another $10,000. This is Oprah. They gave another $10,000 when we was leaving. So I'm telling you, this program is the truth for people who want to go to grad school, people that need money for college. Like apply for this program. It's super simple. The application is super simple, which I'm gonna try to pull it up, which I think it's up here. I'll drop this in the chat. Super simple. These are my friends too as well. Apply March 1st. They give you a whole little rundown. Actually applies to video too as well. They have a couple informational sessions, which will be January 25th and one the 27th. So if you want more information, of course, I'll drop my information in the chat for people who want to reach out, but they actually do a big deep dive in this too as well if you want more information, which is actually good to attend because you can ask all the questions. So I know we're kind of limited for time, but deep dive into that too as well. But I had a ball, guys. In Washington D.C., I went to U Street. If you're of age, of course. I went to they put us on a boat cruise. That was like a so real experience for free. All this is for free. You don't have to pay for nothing. They treat us so well. So, in closing, this is my contact information. Please take a screenshot of something. I'll put it in the chat too as well. Please reach out. You have any questions? We want TSU people there. I said a whole bunch of UAPB, Southern, Jackson State. I was outnumbered, okay? They said each college represents your school. Guess what I was doing? I tried to do a little, I'm so glad. I was so glad with 4 people. So we need everyone in this call to apply. I'm actually on the recruitment team for this. So like, please apply. Let me know. I will get you in the door, okay? You do not want to miss this opportunity. So please, like, apply. You're going to have so much fun. You're going to meet so many different people. And we're going to turn up and have fun in D.C. I think it might be in Houston this year. But other than that, like, please apply. Like, you do not want to miss this opportunity. Like, apply. Thank you. Any questions? I know I said a lot.
Well, here's the good news.
When you go back, stop hearing.
Here's the good news
Thank
for the majority
Stop
of you
sharing.
are on this call. I'm going to do a shameless plug going forward. And so Jalee is probably laughing. I'm actually a Nearpod trainer. So for all of you that will be taking EDCI 4190 in the fall, just know you will be working on Nearpod. It's a great, wonderful tool. All of you should have hopefully received the email from me regarding Magic School AI, because that is a wonderful artificial intelligence tool that I just recently completed my training and micro credentials on that. So I'm just going to say, team, secondary crew, y'all need to lobby and tell them put that technology class on back on the schedule, because you would have already had your portfolio done, Jalea, she'll test. You'd already had your portfolio done, but it does speak volumes in terms of your digital presence and planning. So I do appreciate, Ramik, your question. So in the chat, Ramik, for you, how long is the Summer Institute?
It's 10 days.
Okay.
So 10 days, July 14th through the 25th this year.
Second plug that I'm going to put out there for you is your involvement with STEA. Many of you do not know that STEA is not just an organization for your liability insurance. They also have professional development workshops, professional development meetings, the spring conference. I have the date. I have to pull it up again, but you'll get all of this via email. The spring conference, I believe, is in April. We will be doing nominations for officers for the 2024-25 academic year in a few weeks. But the great thing about that, because Ramik made it absolutely clear, he is all about the free trips. Well, Ramik, you will be happy to know that you are talking to a former state president, former national board of directors, and a longstanding member of STEA since I was 16. And why, Ramik? Because they told me, again, I was at UT Martin, they were like, they got a conference in Nashville for free. And I said, that's all you had to say. That is all you have to say. Because y'all, some of y'all are like, $40 is nothing. Let me go ahead and tell you, not one, not two, not three. Ramik, I got you beat. For 16 years, 16 years consecutively, 2 weeks in a row, I spent my 4th of July, the last week of June and 4th of July, with the National Education Association for free. And I mean Chicago, Atlanta, San Francisco, DC several times, Philadelphia, New Orleans 2 times, and they gave us Essence Music Festival tickets. That's when the Essence Music Festival wasn't like hitting and popping. But I met LL Cool J. Don't look me up on YouTube, because there was a concert that we did not take off our NEA shirts on. And he said, ladies, come on stage. And I'm not saying I was one of the ladies. I'm just saying I know about 15 people who were, but I knew to take my shirt off. I had a shirt under it. I had the teacher. Let me be clear for the people on the recording. I had a shirt. I didn't have the teacher shirt on because I didn't want to get caught. Because when they aired it back again on, what was that, TV1 or whatever, well, my mama watched and said, look at them on stage. I was like, well, hold up, please they edited it just right. Because if she had waited 2 seconds longer, she would have saw her child on the stage. Shout out to LL Cool J. But Essence Music Festival, I'm just saying. So Chicago, 2 times in New Orleans, 2 times every time in DC. Orlando, back in the day with Nickelodeon Studios, me, now this is going to show my age, Double Dare, me, on the show, got slimed. All on NEA's down. You know what it is to go to Disney World? And I'm a mama now. Do you know what it is to go to Disney World for free? After you've been in Orlando for free? Some of y'all sleeping on these organizations. Y'all need to do your dues money a little bit better. So when I send out these announcements and I'm saying, hey, we need people to go to conferences and stuff like that, you better sign up and say, I'm just here for the free trip. Because as Ramik will tell you, they'll pay for flight. Some of them will give you a per diem and take care of mileage if you have to go anywhere. And the food is not that TSU food. I mean, we talking about, fried chicken Wednesday times like 12. Don't sleep on the food. Some of y'all ain't never had. I had food service for the first time messing with NEA. I didn't know what it was to order food. I'm like, they're going to bring the food to my room? Let me see. Push the button and charge it to my room and somebody else going to pay? What is that? Steak tartare? What is that? That's not, the food is not, the tartare. Don't do the tartare. Tell them put some fire on that. So all of you that ain't had the tartare means fresh meat. Your meat shouldn't be mooing, okay? So I don't do the steak tartare. Tell them put some heat on that. But yeah, shrimp and all that stuff like that. But hey, I'm gonna say this before, don't laugh at me, Cameron, don't judge. I'm gonna say this for the recording. if you go to these events, act like we got some home training. Don't be trying to put the shrimp and the stuff in the plastic bag and everything like that. Don't do that. Don't try to bring it back home and stuff like that. Just,
They got more in the bag.
enjoy, but behave yourself. Okay, Ramit, thank you so much. Let me make sure we don't have any other questions for Ramit. Boom, boom, 10 days. And he put his information in the chat. Ramit, thank you. Best wishes on Residency 2. Shout out to all the music people because y'all have a schedule and a half with the music, and then you're doing this and all over the place. So we're going to wrap up. We're at the 12 o'clock hour, but let me go ahead and tell you, I hope that you have found it rewarding. So just hang with me a few more minutes. And I do mean just a few. I want to make sure that I get through the last bit of, where did my stuff go? The last bit of what I actually needed for you to have. Bing, there's that. Hold on, I'm losing my life. So let me go back. I can't find my presentation. So there's that. Exit out. Let me go back to Zoom. Even my computer is tired. Okay, so share screen. And here we go. Back. And I got it together, y'all, I promise you. There we go. So here are the reminders. Again, these are already things that we've discussed. That's why I said I just need a few more minutes of your time. So hopefully you can see my screen. Can I get a thumbs up or something just to make sure you can see my screen? Perfect. So just a few reminders, spring 2024 timeline for you. Please make sure you complete your methods courses and pass. Because we don't have time for do-overs and things like that. And as you heard from all of our presenters and things, there are opportunities waiting for you. So we want to make sure that you are on target with all of your classes and things like that, so that your program of study is good to go. Also, that you are maintaining that 2.75 GPA. Number 2, if you have a Praxis 2 test to take, now is the time to get that done. Now is the time to get that done. Ramik will tell you, it helps to at least have that first attempt out of the way. Passing it feels great. But again, when you're in the trenches, you definitely want to make sure that you use this time and can switch focus to EdTPA. Please know that while EdTPA is something that you are not familiar with, I know you had the first workshop in August. There will be workshops for you throughout your residency, your senior year, to get you ready for that experience. So that's one of the reasons why you don't really see that on your screen now. Amaya, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. So for secondary majors, I was told the Praxis 2 is no longer a requirement.
What
I've been hearing mixed things about that. English specifically.
Yep, you're on the screen. So if you look on the screen,
So it is a requirement still.
English, history, and math are excluded.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah,
you're
this
good.
is
No,
something-
I know.
Yes, ma'am.
Ask that clarification. So again, if you're biology, chemistry, English, history, or math, you do not have to take Praxis 2. So that's why I said, go ahead and put a check mark there on your checklist, because your degree will count as your content knowledge. So we definitely need you to complete your bachelor's degree in your specialized area. As I've already mentioned, complete your intent to enter Residency 1 application. You can submit that now. So if you finish that tomorrow, you won't. But if you finish it tomorrow, go ahead and turn it in. And just wait until after April 1st to renew your membership with STEA. So that way you're joining for the next academic year. Program of study we already talked about. Have those intentional conversations. You guys were fabulous during the presentation with Ms. Tyus and Dr. George, asking those clarifying questions, because when we submit this list and we have our confirmed list, we will be reaching out to those districts. So it's important you let us know, hey, I live in Robertson County, but the school that is like the closest to my house is right there over the county line in Clarksville, Montgomery or something. Can I do my residency there? And the answer is yes, if you let us know in time. So by April, you need to be intentional with us about where you desire to hopefully have your field placement. so that we can go ahead and reach out to those districts and say, hey, Metro Nashville, we have 6 or 16 that are coming into the district. Put those administrators on alert so that they can start having those intentional conversations. That means you have to have your A game, because once we put it out there that you are ready to work, they are going to do their own vetting to make sure that you are on their keep an eye out list. Cameron, go ahead.
On the on the residency, the 2 days for the fall and then the full time, is that all at the same school?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you will start off, again, I think I said Tuesday. Yeah, they're Tuesday, Thursday. Tuesday, Thursday, those are your residency days. The hours increase. Obviously, we'll have that orientation again in the fall that will let you know what those requirements and things are. You will have a mentor teacher, but you are in there to co-teach and basically to prepare to take the reins, which is why you're in there for that year. So in August, when TSU starts back and you're cleared to go, and Ramit can attest to this, you will get to know them. Okay, A block, B block, or here's the kids to watch out for. He's gonna be my Advil kid. You right there, Petey, and all of that. Because by October, you should be preparing to take the lead, that lead role, and that mentor teacher should be backing up to let you start and prepare for January. So here's the important part about that. Cameron, thank you for bringing this up. Couple things will happen at that time. One, if you are already in the pipeline to sub, you can ideally use the remainder of residency 1, that month of December, to volunteer, to sub, and to stay at your school or to see other schools in the district that you may want to check out and just kind of peek in and say, I like this school, but let me see what's happening in this particular building. Or number 2, someone's knocking on your mentor teacher's door and saying, I need to go ahead and interview Cameron because I want him to go ahead and take that. We need to give him we want to give him a classroom in this building. Or the district is calling you and saying, Cameron, we need to interview you because we have 3 principals or 3 schools in the district that need an elementary teacher. And then at that point, you're having a conversation with us, because after, what was it? This year was December 12th. We had people that were going to work December 12th and finishing off the year as an employee of the district, which would mean that you're doing your EdTPA as an employee in the spring. So you're not in the same classroom. So you either ride out the whole year or you're co-teaching in one classroom for residency 1, and then you are the teacher in your own class for residency 2. So that'll make a lot more sense, obviously, in the fall, but a lot of that preparation work happens now, which is why we have the timeline on the screen. So again, watch your grades, start having those conversations with your advisor about making sure your degree works and all of those things match up, because we do have to verify that you are done with all of your campus classes to have you approved for that permit. So if by chance it's saying, oh, we're missing an English and a history, and you did that at Ball State or Motlow State, we want to have that resolved so that our files match up with what we're going to be sending to the State Department. Moving forward, professional development. So obviously that was the theme. I didn't want to just waste your time on this Friday, and I hope that you found this orientation beneficial with you investing in you. So here is the professional development calendar for the spring semester, and it is jam-packed. Our ask in the teacher ed office, and I will dare say our ask from our district partners, is that you attend at least 4. Now, you've heard from Ramit, you've heard from Metro Nashville Schools, and you've even heard from the state. How you invest in yourself, and Deontay, you asked the question, and you heard, one of you, if you were listening, heard the response. It really is about bringing yourself to the table. We're asking you to attend at least 4. Now, you see, none of the school districts, I wanted Metro Nashville to get up here first Sumner County did their presentation in the fall. Every school district on here is not in Tennessee. St. Louis is up on, St. Louis Public Schools is up on the 26th. Oh, I'm sorry, we did have KIPP Nashville, sorry. KIPP Nashville's February 2nd. We have an international school. Because again, some of you are like, I don't know what it is to teach internationally. But again, there is a lot of international schools that are like, you're the perfect candidate because you speak English, you know the standards, and we have students that are coming in from multiple countries that need to make sure that they're at proficiency level. So we've had candidates in years past that have done their student teaching in Germany. They work with the Department of Defense. We've had candidates whose spouses and things have been in the military, and they're like, my husband or my spouse is getting deployed to an area, and we've worked with the Department of Defense. So we have an international school up on deck, Southern Teachers Agency. So Chelsea, back to you in terms of understanding and building connections for other schools and states in the region. Cherokee County Schools, I believe this one is in Alaska. I could be wrong, but I'm bringing them all in because we need teachers everywhere. We have a book talk March 15th and the career fair. So I do encourage you to have that TSU career fair on your calendar, because a lot of the districts that were not able to get and again, they are competing for your time. Please know you guys are a hot commodity, but there's only so many Fridays that we have to accommodate. So please know a lot of the districts that were not able to get a slot for the calendar are hoping to meet you at the career fair. I talked to you about the deadline on April the 4th, so I'll skip over that. We have U46 coming in from Elgin, Illinois. That's outside of Chicago. Youngstown City School District and Urban Ed Academy. Many of these districts, Deontay, do have what were your questions? Stipends or relocation stipends. So if you are attending these, make sure you ask that question. Again, guys, I'm asking you to attend at least 4. These individuals are offering free professional development workshops. Some will be in person, some will be virtual. If you want to do more than 4, certainly. But one of the things that we will be asking you as you prepare for your senior block is, how have you invested in yourself? These are workshops and things that you can add to your resume in terms of professional development participation. But please make sure that you have in mind 4 to attend. All of them will be from that 11 to 12 o'clock block, 1 hour. And that way you're not tying up your Friday. You can get back to what you need to do for lunch. So again, please keep that in mind. And then last but not least, survey. Whip those phones out. Here is the exit survey that I need for you to complete before you log off. If someone can please confirm that the link is working.
Yes, it is.
Fabulous. So while you are working on your exit survey, let me just go ahead and close out by say thank you again for participating today. As Ms. Fair said at the beginning, you are all cleared to start your pre-residency II field placement next week. Once you get the green light to go, I look forward to being one of your prime advocates as you go through this program. We are a family. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, please let me know. If you feel like you are not receiving the services that you need to be that competent, caring, facilitative learning, committed to diversity and the success of all, let me know so that we can get those things tweaked and get you on the path of confidence and competencies as a candidate. Tori, go ahead.
Okay,
Tori?
sorry.
Okay.
This is more of kind of a personal question, just a quick question. I was a transfer from MTSU, and for some reason, I cannot get records they have my transcript from MTSU, but it does not reflect like when I go on to the TSU's information, half of my classes aren't on there. You guys also with the teacher ed program have it. And the last time I spoke with you, you said that that was enough. And I've also given a copy to Dr. Matthews, who my advisor is, but I just wanted to, you keep saying like, make sure ahead of time that your classes are accounted for.
Mhm.
Is that going to affect me that records for some odd reason is not reflecting all of those classes?
It will not. So here's a good thing. Our office has it from the certification standpoint. Dr. Matthews will need to reconcile that in degree works.
Okay.
So if you need assistance on that, if you need our office to help with that, please reach out to us, copy Dr. Matthews or email Dr. Matthews, copy our office to make sure that that is reconciled. But that is a great question for all of you. Not just for you, Tori. I know you said that was a personal question, but for everyone, check your degree works account. And I will say this, degree works is not 100% perfect. But unfortunately, that's the system that they are relying on. It's one of the reasons why I will always advocate for you all to keep track of your documents. If you get Praxis scores, still send them to our office and say, hey, I want to make sure you have my Praxis scores, just so that on the certification end, we can go ahead and still submit all of your things for certification. And yes, it has happened that we had up to date, the test office had your records together when the university did not, because you're sending all of that stuff to us and there's one point of there's like 2 point of contact, and we've had to again advocate for you to say, hey, records, here is the transcript. And again, this is knowing your networks. That's not your battle to fight. And I know, Tori, you're like, if you want to do that, feel free. But oftentimes we can go ahead and say, Dr. Matthews, contact these people or these personnel in records office and check it off. But it helps for you every semester to have a copy of your up-to-date program of study signed, because respectfully, if people are off during the summer, and no one takes breaks better than my colleagues. When they're gone, they're gone. So having it signed, but if someone gets fired, retired, maternity leave, FMLA, if things happen, you always have that program of study signed to say, as of whatever date, Dr. Christian's really good for this. Shout out to you, Dr. Christian. That she will sign it and have it, so you have it on file. So if you didn't know the adage or the saying, have your receipts, you definitely want to make sure at this point, as juniors at TSU, have your receipts for graduation, have your receipts for certification, so that you can do the whoop whoop come May of 2025 when we're clearing out your files, because no one has time for any of this. You don't have time for an email from the bursar saying you have a balance. No one likes that email. Nobody wants that email. So Ramik, I know he logged off. You better get that money. There's money on the table. You better get it. Number 2, you have no time to have to receive an email from records saying, we're missing your history or biology. And you're like, well, I didn't take biology. I took astronomy. And they said that would count. And I took it, here's my transcript. Take care of all of that stuff now, because it's easier to fix it now while it's fresh and we have time to reconcile it than trying to do that on the eve of graduation. And because you guys know this time next year, you were like, look, Dr. Reed, you better go tell them I got 15 people coming in for graduation. I do not have time to tell them that I can't graduate because you guys can't figure out how to put biology on this transcript in your system and give me credit. So on behalf of the recording, do it now. Take care of it now. Any other questions before I put back up this wheel? We have 5 more gift cards to give away, but I need to verify. Jalea, Kendria, Deontay, Jordan, did you guys get your gift cards? Jalea said, yes, I did. Now, I don't know when I'm going to be able to use it, but it won't be in this snow. Did you get them? Okay. All right, last 5. Again, the exit survey link is in the chat. So please, thank you in advance for completing that. And let's get ready to log off with 5 more people having a who's gonna get the waffle fry love today? Let me hush and let me spin this wheel. Let's go. No? Okay, there we go. Who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get it? And Jalen, put that email in the chat. All right, boop, boop. Wrong pin. Jalen, congratulations. Number 2. Let's go. I'm not even gonna delay it. Taylor, put that email in the chat. Congratulations. Number 3. Andrea. Congratulations. 2 more. Number 4. Michael, congratulations. He says, see, I had some technical difficulties. Wow, walk away with some waffle fries. I like it. Congratulations, Michael. Again, put that email in the chat. Please use the an alternate email, not the TSU one, because it's been kicking those back. And our last name will be Tori. Congratulations, everyone. I want to thank you again for your time, your energy, and your engagement this now afternoon. You have been wonderful. I appreciate your professionalism. Please make sure that you look out for the test emails. We'll be starting back with our morning announcements on Monday. Look out for our STA announcements for events and ideas to keep you engaged. And Ball State or my off-campus crew, please know, even if you're not able to come to campus for the STEA stuff, we are all about thinking about ways to keep you engaged. So if you guys want to meet up and go to a school board meeting together in your area, please let me know so that we can support those activities. I'll even do gas cards if necessary, so that you guys can also take advantage of that fellowship that we are designed to offer. Last call for Kids Day. I did send out an email. If you want to participate in the TSU Kids Day, let me know. I will be working on that letter today to get out to your professors for those of you that are attending, but you have to show up. Otherwise, I have to rat you out and say that you didn't come. But thank you all again for your time, your energy, and I wish you all best wishes on your pre-residency II semester. With that being said, move that mouse over to that end button, and I want you to smack it like the X that you couldn't hit because we're good behavior. We're good educators. Y'all know who I'm